Welcome back to Marvelous Chats, guys. This week we're talking What If, maybe a bit of Carnage. Tonight on the podcast we got Drunky, Kyle Crunk, Zebra Wolf, aka Alex, and a special guest who's running a little late but he'll be joining us later is Mex Luther. Let's bring the boys in. Everybody could introduce themselves, say hi. What's up, gentlemen? Hello, hello.
Hey!
What's up, guys? What's up?
Having a wonderful Friday, my lad from Dublin. How you doing?
Good day. Work was tough, but we got through it. We're finished for a week.
Yeah, you're on the end of the week, man. I heard a little bit about your week. This one was a slugfest.
Yeah, dude, it was got a beating, but we're done. It's our time now. Our
Dude,
time to shine.
At least we had some amazing content to get us through this week.
Bro,
I will say that.
Oh my god,
There's a lot.
incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before we start, who has seen Carnage? Okay, so half of us have seen it. I think for tonight, and maybe we can go into it further next week. I don't know if you guys know, but in the UK and Ireland, we're not getting the movie until the 15th of October, which is...
Does Sony not like you, or what's happening?
I've never been so done dirty by Sony before.
Yeah, I was wondering. You told me that you weren't going to be able to see it till the 15th, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you must have some weird circumstances going on.
We usually get the movies before the US. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand what's happening. So
Sony mad at you guys.
Yeah, maybe we're getting too much. I don't know. The fact that Tom Hardy's from London as well just makes it so much harder. I'd say, like, you know, his home country can't see the movie. Like honestly, this movie has been spoiled for me in every single way on social media, even just today. So, like, I don't mind.
You follow those accounts. You follow spoiler accounts,
bro. I opened up.
Like it on Twitter.
I opened up TikTok today, and it was the first thing I saw was the leak. Was the leak of the post-credit scene. Now I'd seen it before. That's not my problem. But what I'm saying is that if I was a regular fan who wasn't looking for spoilers, you couldn't go on social media for 15 days. And like, come on,
that's how it's been since like the MySpace days. You should have learned by now. Avoidance is the only answer.
Bro, I don't care. I want the spoilers. I love them. That's not the point.
I know you did.
That's not the point I'm making. I'm just feel sorry for
ease of access.
I feel sorry for people that like don't want the spoilers. Like I saw, was it comicbook.com put up something about the multiverse, and I'm like, guys, what the fuck? Like, it's out a day. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, look, I don't mind if we don't talk about it tonight. I wouldn't mind maybe just doing a quick spoiler-free review from the guys who have seen it, maybe, just because, you know, let's keep it. It's fresh content. But yeah, let's definitely kick off with What If, guys. I don't know about you, but this episode of What If was some of the most insane shit I think we've ever had the pleasure of watching. Like, I don't even know.
I don't even like the same show. It didn't feel like the same show.
Exactly. It's more than I thought I was going to get out of this show. And like Drunky just said, it didn't even feel like the same show to the point that like which is weird because it was like I'm just spoiler alert for review later. 15 out of 10 for me, bro. It was everything I could have wanted in this show ever.
Bro,
and
if they could math.
This episode,
we got extra toes and fingers here, bro. You gotta add us.
This episode for me was better than a lot of the movies, bro. Like it was incredible.
Instantly, I was like, I want this movie version. Can we get a movie of this, please? Because this is gnarly.
I watched it again just before we went live. I needed to.
Yeah. This is the Black Widow movie we should have got. Like Hawkeye and Black Widow, like being badasses together. Like,
oh my God.
It was so good, man. Like I enjoyed Hawkeye. I'm like, man, Hawkeye's kind of a badass finally. What is this?
I literally, the first note that I have, Nat and Clint at their best in the MCU. That's the first note I have from the episode. Like Hawkeye with the fucking multiple arrows, and he's taking Ultron's heads off and all. And oh my God, the invisible cape with the close combat and everything.
Yeah, that's an actual Ultron arm itself. If you didn't notice,
it's
a deactivated Ultron arm. It's one of the Sentry's arm. That's what makes it so. Like they're saying, maybe it'll add to his abilities. I don't know how it connects, but
Nat's fighting style, Nat's appearance, the motorbike. Everything,
the
bro.
Shield. Not getting the shield, bro.
That shield as well. I thought the shield was gonna be the Red Guardian shield, but it appears that it's a vibranium shield. Like you could hear the sound effects of it as she was hitting it and throwing it around. It was definitely a vibranium shield.
But it's still painted Red Guardian.
I don't think his shield is vibranium though.
What, Red Guardians?
Yeah. Look it up for me, Alex. Look it up for me. Prove me wrong.
I just love the idea of like a Russian vibranium. Like, no, this is vibranium. This is good. This is good.
Put it in H.
Best in neighborhood.
Best in neighborhood. Very good.
No, guys. Honestly, like for me, I have no negatives about this episode at all.
It had Dragon Ball Z vibes, dude.
It was fire from fucking second number one. It was incredible. 15 out of 10, 20 out of 10. It was double the expectation of the entire series in one episode.
It sucks that we had to sacrifice almost the entire season to get this. To see like bro, they could have been hitting this hard. They could have been setting up other characters with their own badass episodes like this the whole time instead of doing these like very translate real life into cartoon. That's always been the biggest thing for me that I didn't like. Like I've seen it in real life. Seeing it in cartoon does nothing for me. Abuse the fact that you're a cartoon.
I gotta be honest. Like I think like I was out for lunch with a friend of mine today, and I mentioned What If, and he said he hasn't seen any episodes of it, and I was kind of just describing it to him, and I was like, you know, it actually is a great show. Like all of it. I know some of the episodes don't hit as good as others. Like it's very kind of curvy in the like ratings or whatever, but it is fantastic. Like even the worst episode is still good, you know. But this was just endgame level stuff. Like this was just incredible. Like some of the best animation I think I've ever watched. Like
everything about it. They use the sound effects, the actual sound effects from using the stones, like
just Nat's like choreography, her fighting style, everything. I was like, this is like Black Widow, you know, and just like everything. Like I have so many notes, like.
I want a poster of Clint falling. That was so artistic.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was beautiful. There's our thumbnail for the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Right there.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, bro. Like and even just that whole scene, it's just a reverse of the Vormir scene, and you know he's like, I'd give up. I don't want to fight anymore. Yeah, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
One thing. A lot of people notice is like. We've always seen Clint jumping. He does the jump where he turns his back up and shoots up in the air. Yeah. This time he kept facing down towards the army, and it just like I feel like they're doing a good job because now it's like, all right, I can handle some more Hawkeye in my life now.
I think. Do you know what the problem is though? I think it's too late now because like Jeremy Renner.
It's already been filmed.
Jeremy Renner as well. He's definitely coming to the end of his stint. You know what I mean? I don't think he has much left in him unless they start going down. Now, I think they might be going down the route of like, you know, an old man Hawkeye where he's going deaf and everything, you know? But I just think what we saw in this episode, we're not going to see that. We can't see anything close to that in a movie in live action, like, because no, you just can't. I think maybe if you did that at the start.
I'm just hoping they stick the landing.
For the series,
yeah, I know. Like, how do you follow that episode? How do you follow?
I don't know, but this episode's so good that it's like one of those things that even if they don't stick the landing, you're still like, hey man, you did so many flips in the air there. I'm not surprised. Like you had a lot of velocity. That's a hard landing to stick.
I would say for me too, like this episode just feels like in a way that a lot of comedies or shows, it's like you wait till the second season till they really find out, like get their footing and find out what type of show they are. This feels like they made a bunch of episodes, and then they went back to the drawing board and was like, what was not working? What should we be doing in this show? Like, what can we do? Because we're an animated film or a TV show, and it's just like the Doctor Strange episode where it's like just because it's like animated doesn't mean it can't be serious and can't be huge and have, you know, really emotional moments.
Yeah,
and I feel like they really took it to that level in this episode in a big way, and like the fight scenes with the Watcher. Oh my God, man. Between him and Ultron, like that was fire, bro. I loved all of that.
That was beautiful. Did you notice as well? I saw a breakdown of, you know, when they're crashing through all the multiverses. if you pause it at the right moment, it actually shows Vader's castle, and it's Mustafar.
Yeah,
they shoot through the Mustafar planet, which just confirmed Star Wars is in the MCU. They just did it. I mean, they just did it. It's just you just saw it. It's canon.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like,
But do you know they actually pitched a Luke Skywalker cameo? Now, when they were told at the start when they were making this show, the writers were told you can go pretty fucking crazy with this. Use all the Marvel characters you want. They came to them and said, we want to bring Luke Skywalker into it, and they were like, okay, no, you've gone too far. We can't we can't do this.
All right, calm down.
Dude, imagine that.
They just put Mustafar in it, so
All I know is I'm pretty from what the research I've done. This is the first time anyone anywhere has seen Uatu fight like this.
Yeah,
this was see the Watcher armor up, bro, and I don't know why they chose like a Dragonlance, like old school, like Final Fantasy Dragonlance, but that was such a good choice for Ultron's weapon.
So insane.
Oh, so many good things, dude.
I do have one very small critique about the episode.
Let's hear it.
How the fuck did Ultron kill Thanos with one little laser when he only had one stone and Thanos had 5?
Because surprise attack and logically killing him.
Yeah, like you got a precision
5 stones.
Listen, you have
didn't know what was happening.
You have Thanos is pretty much a big heavy sledgehammer at that point. He may be stronger, but Vision is a katana. He's delicate and precise, and he's got the control over those stones that Thanos isn't going to quite understand yet, right? So when he gets there, and he's so like, he instantly processes, like there's no thoughts. Thanos is stepping through that portal thinking, who's this? What am I going to do? This is the stone I need. Thanos likes to play with his food a little bit. We've seen that episode or movie after movie. This Ultron here, no, it's calculations and ones and zeros. He steps through that portal, pew, done.
You're on and then you're off. That's it.
Yep.
I mean, we definitely saw like people in the really take Thanos on in Endgame, where it's like Wanda was able to take him out without any stones. And I know it's like power levels up, but this is the Ultron Vision, who has like the Mind Stone, which is a massive advantage for him.
Yeah. I agree, but at the same time, it's that Thanos that gets chopped in half is Thanos who's been leveling up to 5 stones. He's collected 5, getting more powerful and powerful each time. Whereas when Wanda fights him, that's a past version of himself who has no stones. He hasn't received any yet.
I mean,
what would you say if like with Thor though, like Thor comes in, Thanos has all the stones, and like hits him, and like he goes, "Oh, you should have aimed for the head." Like
and he still doesn't recover from that. And he still didn't recover from that. After that, he was still like recovering from that.
Well, that's after he snapped his hands, though. That was after he snapped.
Yep, true. But if Thor's hitting that, a vibranium-bodied covered Ultron, I mean, he melted the gauntlet that's supposed to not be able to be like.
I know. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm like, how fucking powerful is Ultron? Like.
Ultron is extremely powerful. He can actually defeat Thanos. Like even without the stones. He's been known to defeat Thanos in the comics. Mm-hmm. So, and Ultron is not like Vision. Vision is still calculating, but has human emotions and whatnot. Ultron is just straight up a robot. Like it's just like Kyle said, it's in terms of ones and zeros. It's like, this doesn't compute, need to shut it down immediately. Yeah. No questions asked, no talking, nothing. He's gone.
Yeah.
Yep. And I love it. I love it. It's like the Agent Smith of the MCU, the hello, Mr. Anderson. Like, it's just very cold. No, he's there. It was everything I needed. This Gundam Dragon Ball Z gangster Ultron is the best big bad that I've seen for the MCU yet. And
Do you think they bring Ultron back somehow now? Like with obviously the reception of how insane this was.
I feel like they use his power level. I feel like they're teasing. We can get to this. I feel like they're very heavily teasing this power scale to bring Galactus out. Because he bites into that universe like it's a freaking chocolate chip cookie.
And it looked like Galactus, man.
Exactly. The helmet even looked like Galactus in that moment. So I feel like they're just. introducing this power scale, universe eaters, universe beaters, and then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you remember Ultron? That was like a what if. This isn't what if. This is real. Here's Galactus. Hello, like.
And I thought at the end of last episode, the person that came out, I didn't realize it was like, I thought it was Galactus. It's like, no way they fucking introduced Galactus here.
That would have been sick.
Yeah,
that would have been so good, dude.
Yeah.
Season 2, they got it right. They got it out. Like, so
yeah,
how do you
like
like
Silver Surfer? You know, like,
you can't set the bar this high and then go back down to like regular threats. Like, it's gotta it's gotta be Doom next. It's gotta be all the big boys.
Think of what they're gonna be using next season.
I know, it's crazy.
Doom, Galactus.
They got it. They got it now. Like, you know, you can't bring it up. You can't bring it up to this level and not go any further. You know.
And coming back to Thanos real quick, I feel like just in this what if series, like you just have to. I've had to accept that everything here has no correlation to the actual MCU, and they may pull people from it in the future and like try and tie it in. But I feel like the writers just are trying to find ways to have the mechanisms work. It's like, all right, we need to get Ultron, all of the Infinity Stones, but we can't spend too long on it. Yep. This is a 30-minute episode. We got to get this going. Yeah, how do we do that? And, you know, I think when we look too deep into it, we're doing a disservice to the show because the writers didn't look into that deep in that, or they probably did and were like, you know, hey, we just can't do it. Like we there's no way we can get the story done unless we just have him kill real quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because like how does Thanos have the Soul Stone? Because you exclusively see Nebula getting or not Nebula, Gamora getting shot at on Sovereign. Like you see her alive. So like Drunky said, they really kind of just when it comes to the Stones timeline and the Stones, like we've come to know them before now, they've kind of thrown that up in the air for this because as we knew, the Stones weren't going to have any power outside of a universe. He literally breaks through multiversal walls with the powers of the Stone and continues to use it. So it's
which like builds Thanos' character and how fucking determined and cool Thanos is. That look what you can actually do with all these stones. You can break the multiverse and like enter places you're not supposed to go. And Thanos just like, no, I'm just gonna kill half the universe and like peace out and destroy the stones. Like that's all I want to do. Can you imagine that type of discipline, bro? He's just like, nope, that's it.
I think he's just not smart enough, maybe because I don't know. All I know is that moment of realization though, where he's like, who is that? And then like he like finds him. It like I said before, I don't know, maybe that's what gave me like the Matrixy vibes, like because that's kind of like a hallway in the Matrix too, and like and Ultron's like the agent trying to break out of the Matrix. It's just so cool.
Well, I think Thanos' mission was to, you know, preserve life. He wanted to save the universe, whereas Ultron's mission is to fucking destroy it. So that's why that's the difference, you know. Whereas you know, Thanos saw his own planet be destroyed due to overpopulation and everything. And like sucking resources, so that's why he was like, "Let's half it, and we'll save everything." So you know that was that's his mission. Yeah,
Thanos is very much a sledgehammer, and this Ultron is very much a katana. Precision, accuracy, slice and dice. Thanos is just like smash, like a Hulk. He's
nice.
Well, and the idea behind Ultron, and it was even referenced in the episode, was literal Skynet. Just got to get rid of every single life on the face of this universe.
Yeah,
they sneaked in Terminator 2 though, and that upset me.
They sneaked in Terminator 2?
No, they dissed Terminator 2. She said, "Oh, I've seen that Skynet movie, and it doesn't need a sequel." The sequel Terminator T2 was way better. What do you mean?
Well,
that's why nobody likes you, Captain Marvel. That's why nobody likes you.
She left the planet before the sequel came out.
No
excuses. What I remember.
No excuses.
Well,
that's why nobody likes her.
Well, she's like, all right, excuse me, guys. I'm done saving the world. I got to go watch this movie.
Hey, we find time, and I've saved the world practically every day.
It's true.
I find time.
And in regards to the Soul Stone, though, Gamora's not the only daughter that he has, and just because he tortures and manipulates Nebula doesn't mean that he doesn't love her. So it could be possible that he brought her with him.
Yeah, maybe.
And went to just kill her from that point.
I think, as Drunky says, we shouldn't dig too deep because I don't think you're meant to.
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing that potentially in Doctor Strange 2, we're going to see some, the evil Doctor Strange, the evil Sorcerer Supreme. Apparently, we might see a live-action version of him in Doctor Strange 2. So I actually would not be surprised if we actually did see some crazy fucking shit happen that's come across from What If into live action and into the Multiverse of Madness. And I think if they're going to do it, which I absolutely think they should, but if they're going to do it, that's where you do it. You know, you do it in that movie where it's all about the multiverse just cracking and it makes sense. I don't think you can bring in a character from What If in a couple of years' time when the multiverse is closed or whatever, or merged into Prime or something like that. You know what I mean? I think it makes a lot of sense to do it soon rather than later. Yeah, for sure. And
I can't wait till this multiverse is fucking closed.
I know you can't, bro.
He's like, isn't it Secret Wars that does that?
I don't even know,
ends
man.
the multiverse. I have a video on Q that says like Secret Wars ends the multiverse or something.
To be completely honest, though, I don't think the multiverse is going away at any point. It's too much fun for most people. Yeah. So at the most, they might say that it's closed, and then all of a sudden you see someone break through the barrier again and like say, "There's some shit going down."
I think it's kind of fun at first, and it's definitely fun for the people who are like deep diving all these shows. But I don't think they've really brought that to the main public, right? Like if you're watching Disney Plus MCU shows, which on the stats is not nowhere near the movies, you're not really exposed to this multiverse. And I think once you start exposing the general public to it, they're all just going to be confused, because they'll be like, wait. Like, is Batman supposed to show up in this or something? Like,
yeah, it's a very fine edge. Look at the Flash. Like,
don't give me hope, bro.
You teeter a little bit too much to the one side, and it just tilts.
You know what? I think the success of the MCU has kind of been based on the idea that, you know, there is this like ongoing storyline, but you don't have to know the deep knowledge of it, right? Like, you can just kind of like dip in and out. Like, oh, I know this. You know, they do a very good job at making it feel like it's all very connected and like very, you know, a strong storyline throughout. But if you really like sit down and kind of view it, you can miss a couple Marvel movies and go see Infinity Wars and to be just fine. And I think if they get deeper into the multiverse stuff, they kind of lose that ability to do that. And that's why people are going to tune out. They want the things to be very digestible, man. You know what I mean? This is like mushed up baby food for like the general public. Like, here you go. It's enjoyable. You're going to love it. I mean, every movie's almost the same.
Yeah, of course.
They very much want you to be able to have your favorite MCU character. And hey, I'm only going to watch the ones with my character in it. And if I miss the other ones, so be it. And they had it set up, I believe, but like Drunky just very well explained. They had up until Phase 4, the if you're doing one of those red yarn things, it was very linear with maybe an occasional connection here and there. What they're doing here going forward looks much more ironically like a spider web, where it's like things are connected at so many points that you almost can't miss this, because now this is a structure point that's integral to the rest of what you're building.
Yep.
So I think Phase 5 or we're in Phase 5. Yeah, Phase 5, Phase 4, whatever we're in going forward is really going to start either going to be for the hardcore only, or they're going to have to start getting linear again.
I think the purpose of like what we're watching now is to bring the normies in, you know? Like What If has been a comic book series for fucking 30 years.
But are the normies paying a premium price to go see What If?
But they're paying for Disney Plus, and they're getting it for free.
The normies might just be staying on Netflix. That's the thing.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's definitely opening up a lot more people to the wider universe and the crazy. You know what I mean? And I think they need to be doing that, because the storyline of Phase 4 and Phase 5 is fucking insane to regular people. If you were to you know, get someone who's not really a comic book fan, who's just gone to see Iron Man 1 for the first time, it's like, hey, what if I told you there's a multiverse and there's an infinite amount of these guys, Tony Starks, like played by different characters, living different lives. Would you be interested in that? They'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I just want to see like shit blow up, like, you know? So, but now those people are...
I'm like that.
Yeah, but now those people are all for it, like.
But it really depends, because that's why most comic books make so many different iterations of the same character from different worlds, because they know that some people don't want the same like prime character all the time. They want different iterations. And so that's why we have Ultimates. That's why we have the Incredible Hulk, the Immortal Hulk. We have like the awesome, like the totally awesome Hulk. We got like, we got the neighborhood Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Superior Spider. We have so many different iterations. And so that's what helps the entire, like, the fan base pick a character that they love and be like, you know what? I am a fan of the Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm a fan of Miles Morales. I'm a fan of, like, and this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to branch out, and they're trying to give everyone a character that they'll ultimately be like, oh, you know what? I really like Ultron more than Thanos. I like, oh God, Clint. I like Clint more than, than in the previous.
Don't gaslight Clint just because he's doing Jack. Don't gaslight.
Yeah, it's the first time anyone's ever said those words. I think your guys' point. I think you're right, but I also come back to something Finto said earlier, where he has like his friend who like hasn't seen What If at all, and you're like, what do you do? Like, I think there's a lot more of those people out there than I probably even give it credit for. And to Alex's point about the comic books, I think that is kind of a bit prohibitive about comic books, that a lot of people don't know how to jump into the comic book scene, don't know how to get into these stories, because there is so much going on. There's so much diversity between the same character that you're like, what do I read?
Yeah,
there's 40 years to catch up on. I mean,
yeah. And they try to reset the universes. They've always tried to do that in Marvel and DC, and it never like really works. But like I try to keep up with the X-Men comic book series, and they're like, oh yeah, if you want to know the full storyline, you gotta keep up on like 8 books. And I'm like, yeah. Like 8 books. I can't do that, bro. Like I'm an adult.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that, because it does scare people away from being like, oh geez, I don't know which one I would actually love to start with. But to me, that's part of the fun of it, and that's why I'm different from the others. I would love to like go into each and every one and then pick out my favorite, but also it does cost money to do so, and I know most people don't want to spend the money for it.
Right.
And I think in terms of the shows and the movies, though, it's more enjoyable for the fact that like you're not buying it and it's not stationary, it's moving. And it just catches your eye much better than a comic would, because back in the day, comics were fantastic. They were lovely to read. They're lovely to read now, but most people nowadays are more visual. Yeah, that's one thing. Is I just subscribed to Marvel Unlimited to try it for free.
Nice,
it's fucking cool.
Yeah, you just made a great point. You said nowadays people are more visual, and I think they really shot themselves in the foot, like I was saying earlier, with not putting this kind of episode earlier. Because like you, Finto, I have a close friend who I actually had over last night when we were talking about it. He's a big comic book MCU DC fan, and the show started off at the beginning to where he was like, "Why would I want to see?" Kind of like what I said. Why would I want to see things that I've seen in real life in a cartoon? Like, and I was trying to explain to him, hey, even if you're not going to be into the show, watch like the Doctor Strange episode and like whatever they're doing for this finale. Watch that because it's worth. And there might not be people out there getting that information, so they've lost a lot of people with this slow start to the season. Hopefully kind of this episode or whatever gets viral and gets out there to where just they get a lot of traction behind it, and it makes them want to write like that, because they could easily bring all those people back season 2 that didn't want to watch this season. But I think they shot themselves in the foot either way at this point, and they've lost a huge audience.
There could have been a much cooler way to do this whole season, where it's like this episode is like the first episode, and then so as we go along each episode after that, it's like the Watcher putting together his Avengers. So we watch like the Captain Carter episode, and then at the end of it, he's like, "I need you to come with me now." After all that, so like there's a purpose to all of it, which it feels like he's gonna go back and grab all these characters, right?
Yeah, that's the very end of the episode. It's like you're gonna break your you're gonna break your oath, you're gonna intervene. So that's where it's going. But I gotta say, what the fuck is Captain Carter gonna do against that Ultron? Like, he literally just has to think for 1 second about turning her into dust.
Well, you always need a ground warrior for your superheroes.
I know. I'm joking, dude. I'm joking.
Hey, speaking of ground warrior,
I take it seriously.
I know. And I love you for it, dude. I love you for it.
We see the actual. I thought it was really cool. They did the nightmare that Iron Man had in Age of Ultron,
but it was all real.
It was all real in this one.
Yeah. It was deadly. It was great. there's so many beautiful little details like that in the show that just that's what sells it for me. Like, you know, as a sweaty, like it's those little tiny details that they just do a complete flip on.
I saw a breakdown that they showed like that Ultron sent a missile to Wakanda, showing that like he's already aware of Wakanda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does anyone know about President Steve Rogers or
that was
like? What is that about? I don't know anything about that.
That was just they just drop into a random timeline, and Steve Rogers is being sworn in as president.
It was the man we needed to beat Loki in the polls. So
there's speculation that is the universe where Loki took over Earth, and then when they revived Captain America, he helped defeat Loki. Okay. And since they need a leader.
And one of the current runs,
they appointed him.
Okay.
Nice.
Captain America actually just swore in his old school uniform and everything. So he's currently in one of the runs right now, a president, in one of the comic runs. So
I'd vote for him. That's fucking America's
I'd vote for Old Man Rogers first, though. I really want Old Man Rogers.
I love Old Man Rogers. I wish they made Old Man Rogers Stanley.
Imagine a presidential address.
Think about it.
Imagine a presidential address, and he's sitting at the desk getting ready to sign a bill or something, and the shield's on the wall behind him, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's America, bitch."
For anybody who might be listening on Spotify right now, somebody's just joined the call, but they're being very quiet.
Max Luther,
sneaky snake named Max.
Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up,
man? I feel like I haven't seen you in weeks.
Yeah, man.
Like physically, because like
so
even like when I'm watching your streams, you haven't done cam in ages, so I feel like I haven't seen you in so long.
Because I've been like in the middle of like moving everything into a new room.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out like a good angle and all that stuff when we finally got it down.
Your old room was so set up, nice.
Show me the pops, bro. Show me the pops.
Oh, it's just the same one from last time. I figured I'd bring her back out. It's the one I got when I got the crate.
Let's go,
it's
dude.
The Black Widow one from the episode you guys just saw. And then the other one's my Spidey one.
Boom. Nice.
Max gotta have his pops.
The black and gold suit. Love it. Max, how have you been, brother?
Good. Chilling. Working.
Are you going to be seeing Venom anytime soon, my friend?
I am hoping like within like the next week or so, I would probably see it. I had plans to go see it tomorrow, but I don't think we are.
Bro, you know we would have seen it if you were already over here. I would have been like, "You're going with me right now."
Oh, dude! Me and Mark were like so tempted to like not just go after work tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. Yesterday, we were like, "Dude, we have time to." Sorry,
you're fine.
Sorry, we have time. We're like, "Dude, we have time to go now. Like, should we just do it?" I was like, "No." I was like, my wife wants to watch it with me. I was like, "So we can't." But I love
so that tempted. Max is like living in solidarity with Finto. Like, I'm not going to see this till the 15th because of my friend Finto. Okay.
I mean, if I have to, I will. Yeah.
No, honestly though, like I'm 100% when I say this. Like next week we can do a full blown spoiler fucking thing. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna know frame by frame of this movie next week because I just know that it's gonna be ruined for me. Like I'll open up.
Finto's gonna be watching it early.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I guess I'll see it next week. I'm trying to hunt down where to see Venom 1 on a streaming service I have, and I don't think it's available. So I think I actually have to pay money for it, which like I'm all right with. It's only like $5, but it's like the principle of like paying for a movie to watch at home. Like I'm like, oh,
especially that movie.
Where do you have to buy it on? Like Apple or something? Or like...
Amazon has it for like $5 on. So I was hopeful. I was like, oh, I can just watch it here. And they're like, nope, that'll be $5, sir. And I'm like, all right, Bezos. Like,
calm down, bro. Like, where's he looking to go to next? Fucking Jupiter? Like, come on, bro. Leave us alone.
So, like, I don't know. I guess it's getting all rightly reviewed, right? Like, we not get too deep in it, but it just looks so weird. I don't know, man.
Sharky just said in the chat there we could stream it on Discord. We technically could. Shut up.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. What?
Shut up.
You can stream videos on Discord? I don't think you can. That's preposterous.
I think so too. I've never done that.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Next, what do you think of What If?
Oh my god.
That episode was amazing.
Dude,
it was like 10 out of 10. It was great.
I gave it a 20 out of 10. It was honest perfection. But yeah,
20 out of 10. Where did you guys go to school? I got a 15 out of 10. I got a 20 out of 10. This is
bro,
not
I guess.
Hey, bro, we can get
I
level.
guess
We
you
can get
never
level.
did extra credit.
bro.
Yeah, you never did extra credit. Clearly,
We can get level
No, I
5
started to
hype
leave
trains
early.
to 200% now. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We got
Sometimes
any boost donations in the chat? Like,
sometimes when you used really big words, they gave you extra points. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I can't believe the guy who just said, "This is America, bitch," is talking about using fancy words.
Listen, if Captain America was president and he had a shield on the wall behind him, that is exactly what he would say.
Yeah, I know. He's so eloquent. Oh,
Guys, keep talking. I'll be back in 1 second. Sorry.
You can't make me.
All right. What was the runtime for Venom? Like, did it feel like it went by really fast?
It went by really fast. It was about
I
an
heard
hour
it's
and a
only
half.
An hour and a half, yeah.
It had pretty good pacing on top of that too, so you didn't feel like you were like in a lull or anything. Like it was, the pacing's really nice on it, so you're enjoying it moment to moment.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was okay. I looked over at my girlfriend. I was like, "What do you think?" And she goes, "Eh."
You'll laugh.
And I'm like, "That's completely fine." She's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it was good. It was good for it being a movie." I think the direction they went was kind of weird, but ultimately it was fun. Like it had its good moments. It had some fun moments. So I mean, I would recommend watching it if it's on sale.
Sure. Well, I mean, I gotta go watch it in person now so we can talk about it. Woody Harrelson, how's he do? Is he like a draw to it? Was he worth it?
He was enjoyable for I would say the first half. The second half was a little.
I was very excited. I'm glad that you've seen it. How did you feel about Shriek? The spoiler free. How'd you feel about what they did with Shriek?
It was interesting.
I knew that was a big point for you.
Yeah, it was exactly what I thought it would turn out to be. But it wasn't too bad. I think that, like I said, I think the direction they went was a little weird, but I understood what they were trying to do in terms of the formula for a standard, like, superhero or even just a regular movie. You have you have your sections of things that you need to include for a movie to have like a proper plot. And so they tried their best to get it fit perfectly, and it upset me a little bit because there were a couple things that happened that I didn't want to happen, but ultimately it still sort of put into the structure of like what the comics had said had occurred. And it's not word for word, of course, but it gets pretty close. Like there's some things that are in there that you're gonna see. And some of you are gonna be like, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean? For me, it's like, oh, I think I know what's gonna happen next. After this movie, there's definitely gonna be some sort of sequel.
Venom 3 is already confirmed. Tom Hardy signed.
Right.
And then obviously, we know what's coming after the post-credit scene as well.
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't know at all.
Oh, we'll wait till next week.
Are you living under a rock, sir?
Yes. Rock is called. We get no
this is
information down here.
Patrick.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the post-credit scene already got spoiled for me too, so I already know what's happening with that.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be completely honest,
it was blatantly
I'm
obvious.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
It was a marketing stunt.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I'm happy for it because it will definitely get people talking.
100%.
I will just say this is the best thing I can say, spoiler free. For once in the history of theater, the trailer didn't show all the best parts, in my opinion. The trailer almost showed all the worst parts, and then all the best parts are everything you don't see on the trailer.
That's a bold statement, sir. That is a bold statement, and I will tell you in 15 days if you're right or not.
They did use the same type of like hidden formats as they did with the Infinity War. You know how when we saw Hulk, but it was actually Hulkbuster. You like the things that you saw in the trailer. Some of the things you'll notice didn't get placed into the trailer. It's going to show up in the movie though.
Cool. Finally.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It's not like, oh my God, that was grand, but it was enough to be like, cool.
I've heard it's very on par with the first film, like expectation wise and stuff like that. Like it's no better than the first one. Is that right?
I would say
I'd say better than the first one.
I would definitely say it's slightly better.
Thank God for that.
I do, and you know, I can confirm though that I do like Carnage's voice. It's not as like, it's not deep, but it still sounds like a symbiote. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's, like you know, I was
he doesn't have the
so glad
he doesn't have the shaky crazy voice like he did in the cartoon, does he? It's not like that.
We'd have to go over it again because I didn't have a chance to go over it.
That's okay.
But it definitely felt like it was getting close to Carnage.
That's good.
Or at least, you know, movie Carnage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So was Woody good in it?
Yeah, that was the first thing I think Drunky asked right after you got up.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to know.
No. I just think it's funny that you guys are on the same wavelength. Yeah. Woody does pretty good. And then I asked how I thought Shriek did. Yeah, really. The supporting cast really is awesome in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Shriek on the second half was better than Shriek in the first half, for sure.
Gotcha.
Well, I can't wait to see it. That's what you hope for, right? You know, you want the characters to develop and get better as the movie goes on.
It was just a strange feeling. I'm kind of glad that they didn't go too sad with it. With the direction, they actually had some fun with it, which was really nice.
I heard that as well, that it was obviously not too serious. It was kind of like fun, but apparently the way, and like, this doesn't ruin anything, but apparently from what I heard, the way that the movie goes, you kind of don't know if it's going to go down a kind of Ragnarok kind of avenue at one point, or is it going to go like Civil War serious? Like you just don't really know which way it goes, and then it kind of makes its mind up halfway through, and I think you're kind of pleasantly surprised with the way it does go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all I'm gonna say. It's okay.
Will you watch it again? Like, how many times have you seen Venom 1?
Twice.
I've seen Venom 1 once in the cinema, and that was it. I've never watched it again.
Same.
Yeah.
Look, if you guys are saying this is okay, I can't wait to fucking dump on this movie.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, dude.
Drunky, bring me a toilet paper roll.
Drunky's gonna shit all over it.
I know 100% Drunky. There's going to be some things in it that I think you would be like, you know what? Why did they even include that?
All I'm saying is
the entire script.
I went in expecting a 0 out of 10 on this movie, so anything above that was double, triple. I mean, anything times 0 is still 0. So anything was better than my expectations ever could have been.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll just repeat. I think that the trailer might have just been the worst parts of the movie because I enjoyed everything outside of what I saw in the trailer.
Okay.
That's great. That's high praise, to be honest, in my opinion.
I think it was yesterday. I saw like a 5-minute like official clip from Sony, that they shared from the new Venom movie, and it was like literally just like pure just greatness. It was amazing, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm excited to watch this movie. I think it's gonna be good.
So is that just a random 5 minutes of action? Like, I hate the way they do that now. Like, it's kind of like just out of context scene, and you know, you're like, because I know when they did that for Black Widow, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, here's the scenes I've already fucking seen on YouTube. Like, you know, it's like, it just kind of takes me out of it, you know?
Even when they're like, here's the first opening 7 minutes, I'm like, oh, so when I go to the theater, I'm going to be bored for the first 7 minutes? Like, oh.
Yeah, when they started posting all that kind of stuff, I said, you know what? I'm going to shut off everything for now. I'm literally going to see the movie in like 3 hours. I don't need some weird spoiler happening in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Even if it wasn't going to be great, I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
On how much it's not going to be great.
Do people are people on the fence, and you know, they go onto YouTube and it's like, here's 5 minutes of the movie and go, fuck it, yeah, let's go. Like, you know, does that help people? It
does.
It wouldn't.
It really does. Like, it helped Max. Yeah.
But it's not gonna change your mind about going to see the movie, Max.
Luckily, the scene wasn't like spoilery. Like it was just 5 minutes of action. That's all it was. I was like, dude, this is like, I'm like, if this is what I get for 5 minutes, I think this movie's gonna be better than I think it's gonna be. And I'm glad that like I'm hearing more positive things about it right now than negative, so it gets me kind of excited.
Yeah, I think those clips do help out too, because for me, like the new 007 movie coming out, I was just like, all right, like it's another 007 movie, like what, no big deal. And I seen like a kind of extended like action scene. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to see this. Like I can't wait to get in that movie theater.
They work.
And see this like big, yeah. So I think that does work.
I honestly think that once they had Daniel Craig for 007 films, it really played out well. I really enjoyed Casino Royale, and Quantum of Solace was pretty fun. This new one, No Time to Die, it looks amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not a big 007 fan, guys. I'm sorry. I never have been. I always find the movies like really kind of repetitive and just a bunch of the same shit. And even like when we had like Pierce Brosnan
podcast. Come on, bro. Calm down.
No, like seriously, like I never found them very interesting. Like even as a kid, like and sure we had like fucking Pierce Brosnan, like an Irishman playing fucking playing 007 for years, and I was still like, yeah, whatever. Like,
wait, Pierce Brosnan's Irish?
I believe so, yeah.
I thought it was American.
No.
I'll look that up for us. I'll look that up for us. Also to reiterate,
maybe he lives in America, but I believe he was born in Ireland.
On the Shield thing, I remember you asked me to check.
Yeah.
So Red Guardian Shield type Shield.
No way. No shit.
It is casted vibranium.
Really? Okay.
It is. Yes.
They didn't use that as a selling point in Black Widow at all. Like what?
Well, they had to sell that vibranium one because they were getting sued by ScarJo.
Okay, so
speaking of ScarJo, they settled. She won.
Oh yeah, she did.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
How
she
much?
did.
Hell yeah.
Did they say the number or no?
No, but apparently the movie made 125 million in revenue for just Disney Plus out of the box office numbers, like an extra 125. So, you know, those are big numbers.
Toss me a few of those.
I would say gimme.
Yeah, no, that's big money.
Even
considering
if she's getting anything 1%.
The movie was I think it was 370 altogether. So another 125 on top of that. Like an extra third of revenue came from Disney Plus. Yeah, she deserves a bonus for that. I'm sorry, like, because especially now, considering how cheap it is to make the movies, you know, like it's a no-brainer.
All right, guys, you ready for this?
Yes.
Pierce Brosnan is an Irish actor.
Thank you, sir.
Pierce Brosnan,
Irish, man.
Irish.
Yeah, that's always been my James Bond because I grew up on GoldenEye.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's Irish.
And also like Sean Connery, hilarious.
I don't know, just the movies of all, like, you know, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about 007 on here, like, but you know, it's just never really interested me.
Yeah, I'm happy that ScarJo won her lawsuit or whatever, or they settled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And apparently it was good enough because they all had nothing but lavish praise for each other. She's like, they're fantastic people. I can't wait to get back to working for them. Thank you for the money. Like,
yeah. My pockets are heavy. Thank you, sir.
And so she's going on. She's got this what's that Hollywood movie she's doing? The hotel one, Tower of Terror. She's doing a Tower of Terror movie with Disney. That's back on. And so I'm saying that, yeah, it's back on. So now, like, she's definitely fully available to come back and work in the MCU at any point.
Multiverse, baby.
They're still on working terms, so that's nice.
That is nice.
Guardian still the live Tower of Terror over at Disneyland?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They took over that whole area now. It's like the whole like Avengers campus, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That Avenger campus is rough, bro. I look at it, I'm like, ugh, what the hell? What is this, Six Flags? They're building a Avengers campus in France, and it's got like a whole Iron Man ride and stuff. It looks amazing, bro.
Wow.
Like, you walk in and they got like a full animatronic Iron Man like doing the thing, and I'm like, I just want to go to France now. That's all I want to see is that. Like Tony Stark in the suit, live action. Like, whoo.
I think in the future, when things calm down and we have the money for it, we should all plan a trip together and go just go chill out together at a theme park.
Bro, Drunky, I want to go and just drink in that cantina with you, bro. That's like that's a dream of mine right now.
Dude, it's fun. The Star Wars cantina at Disney World, it is like it's almost like you're in Tatooine, but like it definitely doesn't, like they didn't recreate it fully, right? But it really hits you when they start playing the cantina music, because a lot of the music in there is like really cheesy electronic drum. You're like, all right, and then like the cantina music song comes on, you're like, oh my god, I'm in a Star Wars bar right now. This is crazy, bro.
Hell yeah.
Did anyone tap you on the shoulder and tell you that their friend doesn't like you?
Yeah, but
he's got the death sentence on 12 flare sex or some shit. He says.
The bartender did. He's like, your girlfriend doesn't like you. I'm like, sir, that's inappropriate. What the hell, man?
Oh, that's great. That's so good.
But yeah, if you guys ever want to come to theme parks, I mean, it's not like I don't live in Orlando. It's whatever. It's fine.
I've never been to any Disney parks.
Whew.
Only downtown Disney. That's the closest I've ever been to Disneyland.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of these days we'll go on a trip and we'll check out Disney World. I haven't been there since I would say 12 or 14.
You guys would probably love the Marvel Land at Universal Studios because it's based on the comics, like full stop. It is 1990s comics at their height. Everything's themed around it. It's super fun, man.
Hold up, you said at Universal Studios, like in Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, there's a whole Marvel area. They got like a Hulk ride. The Spider-Man ride's one of the best ones you can go on. Dr. Doom has a ride there. And it's actually the reason Disney can't do Marvel in Florida is because of that, because they got the rights to it.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Anything east of the Mississippi, they can't do theme parks with Marvel characters.
Crazy jurisdiction.
But it's so cheesy and fun, and they got like comics all over the walls. Those big comic looking characters are big murals all over, and then they bring out like the Marvel characters. So you see like the X-Men and stuff and Captain America, and it's all super cheese and campy. But man, it's fun.
If there wasn't any other reason for us to go out there, because we wanted to go because my wife's a huge Harry Potter fan, and like the Harry Potter world out there, I heard is like fucking amazing too.
You definitely got to go for that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think also there's a Harry Potter land somewhere in Europe, I think, as well. I can't remember where though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do they have costume characters like going around too?
For Harry Potter, yes, but they're not characters from the books. They'll have like people dressed up that look like they're from the world and like part of different schools and stuff. But it's not like you don't get Harry Potter walking around,
And then what about the Marvel characters?
Yeah, they do have that. You get like Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm gets out there. I think Rogue, Captain America. You get a lot of them, but they look horrible. But it's hilarious.
They're not like movie extras or anything. Like they're nowhere close.
No, it's so campy.
I love it.
But it's one of those like throwbacks because it's from like the early 2000s. It's just fun. You're like, oh, this is great, and they all like ride out in like little ATVs. It's so good.
I wish we had. I wish I had shit like that over here.
Imagine a Thanos costume character with a Thanos copter.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Little thing on like pedals, like little propeller just going.
Jesus. When I was in middle school, I almost got through Universal because we were taking a school photo with Dr. Doom, in full Dr. Doom costume, Nice. And me, not saying I was the best kid in the world, but I jumped on his back. like I was getting him. I was like, ah, and I jumped on him, and they pulled me backstage and almost threw me out of the park because of it.
That's amazing, dude. I love it.
And I thought he was from Europe. Dr. Doom's totally Australian. You guys don't even know. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
I do remember going to Six Flags and checking out all the DC characters from there. They had I remember meeting Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, Wonder Woman, and it's just so fun meeting characters, even if they don't look like their comic character look.
Mm-hmm.
It's close enough. I'm okay with that. It's just cool to take a picture with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to lean into like kind of the cheesiness of it and the fakeness of it, and just kind of like this is done like so horrible. But
it's
I
like
love it.
It's like when you walk in. It's like when you walk into Disneyland and you see all the regular characters like Mickey and Minnie, and the whole time you just have to take a picture with them when their only expression is
Yeah.
Just it's like, all right, good enough.
Have any of you guys ever been to like the San Diego Comic-Con or anything?
No.
I've been to MegaCon here in Orlando, and that's it, which is a big comic book convention.
I've been to SalCon.
Yeah, I think like the San Diego Comic-Con's like a dream of mine to go there sometime. Like, you know, love to go just to see all the see all the actual like full blown panels and everything.
The only convention I've been to, I went with Zaber, was the PlayStation experience, and that I think was probably one of the coolest things ever, because like Sony went all out. Like they stopped doing it for like the past 3 years now, dude. And like it was like we went the past 3 years, I think it was, and like me and him even like went out to San Francisco. It took like an 8-hour drive just to go out there, and it was
so fun though.
It was worth it though. Like all like the booths and stuff they had. Like I think that's probably one of the best cons that I've been to. I never been to a Comic-Con though.
I think that was the first one too, wasn't it?
Twitch.
What was that, Alex?
I think that was the first one too, wasn't it? When we went to San Francisco. We were so bummed out because like, come on, man, bring it to LA. And
then next year they're like, oh, Anaheim.
No, we're going to Anaheim, and we're like sold.
It went from being 8-hour drive to a 45 minute drive, and we're like, dude, this is amazing.
That's epic.
Slept in the car and everything on the first day too.
Yeah, full send. I was sure we were gonna get mugged by homeless people, dude. I was waiting.
Yeah, he was kind of
just like a whole gang surrounding the car. I was waiting for it. I was like,
dude, Mike and the boys.
We're walking home, boys.
I'm like trying to sleep. He's like, dude, like I can't sleep. And I'm like, just put the blanket over you and just relax, man. He's like, I can't. Like I feel like something's gonna happen.
Oh man,
that's great.
That's amazing. I really but kind of like because I really didn't get to get my full input back on What If. I'm sorry about that.
Oh please shoot.
I think it was great. I think by far this was the best episode of the whole season, in my opinion.
Easy.
Like I completely forgot that I had to watch the episode. I was almost getting ready to go to bed, and I was like, "Hold the fuck up!" I was like, "It's Wednesday."
Yeah.
I was like, boom, booted up Disney Plus. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, sat there and was like glued to my screen the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just like it was visually like appealing. I'm a sucker for action and fight scenes.
Oh yeah.
And it delivered. Yeah. From beginning to end, and then just that ending is like, oh, is this gonna be like a 2-part finale? Finds out that it is gonna be a 2-part finale, and I'm just like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's great, it's good.
I literally
can't
just
wait to see the finale.
I literally just rewatched it as well just before we started.
So right before you went live, I watched it too.
Yeah. So that opener, bro, like that first 5 minutes of that episode, is like fucking incredible. Like movie quality stuff, like. Incredible.
I was wondering when we were gonna get like this, because I got the pop and I was like, post-apocalyptic, like Black Widow, like what?
Yeah.
And I was like, I've seen nothing about it, and finally we got it. I was like, oh, here it is, like, and what a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, like you said, this was hers and Hawkeye's like best performance in the MCU so far.
Ever.
It sucks that it was in an animated series. I wish we could have saw this live action.
Yeah.
But I'll still take it. It was great.
Yeah.
Like after seeing that, I honestly don't give a shit what happened in Budapest anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was all hype. It wasn't that great anyways.
Imagine Budapest was like that. Like imagine it was that kind of caliber event. Like, we're missing out.
We're about arms half the fun.
I still think the most greatest part throughout the whole episode was Ultron meeting Thanos. With the moment I saw that portal open, I was like, holy fuck, like what the hell's about to happen? You know, like this episode's
super heavyweight fight about to happen. Like, you know,
it's a direct mirror of something that happens in Dragon Ball Z too. Cut directly in half, like Trunks did to Frieza.
Yep.
This whole episode, if you watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid, that's what this whole episode felt like, dude. With the energy,
it was jaw dropping. Like the moment he was just like, "Oh, that's like fascinating." He's like, "Blip." I was like,
"Yeah,
did that really just happen?"
Yeah, it was. He became such a crazy moment.
When the Watcher's like, no one's ever got this until now, and he's like aware of the multiverse, like,
and that was him so cool. With only the Mind Stone, you know, like, and I was like, dude, like he's that powerful already. Like this is scary.
Yeah, I love the bit where he hears the Watcher Uatu talking, and he's like, "What was that?" And then he turns around and looks at him, and I was like, "Here we go,
That's a big oh shit moment too.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, just everything about that episode, like
10 out of 10.
Fuck,
dude. I love those Ultron vibes when he's like whispering to like, "I will find you."
I just love James. I love James Spader so much as well. Like that, it's just like give me anything with him. Like he's so good in the US office as well. Like he's so funny in that show, dude.
I think in that perspective, though, I think it was the character the guy who voice acted for Red Skull instead, which he sounded really close to James Spader. Just can't remember his name.
Yeah, I totally thought that was James Spader. I didn't realize it was someone just kind of performing as him. But which makes sense though. And I thought this was about James Spader. I was like, oh well, he voiced Ultron. He knows how to do voice work. My biggest complaint, once again, it's like a tales of old time with the series, are the voice actors. I don't know if it's the voice, the actors, but I thought Hawkeye and Black Widow just sounded super weak. And I don't know if it's them. I don't know if it's the director, like the people capturing the sound are just giving them good direction.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the weakest voice acted shows I've ever watched in animation. Like it feels so empty and hollow, and like it's like they're talking into a wall and not actually there. That's hard to grab that, but
I wonder did a bunch of them do voice work like in quarantine or something?
Yeah, right.
Like not in professional studios.
That's no excuse. Let's not buttery you two sound.
No, I know, but Jeremy Renner probably doesn't have like a professional setup in his house. Now I know,
but he's fucking Marvel, Jeremy Renner.
I know Marvel should provide it if they're gonna have him recording lines. I know if there's any Doom Patrol fans here, like Brendan Fraser records his lines on a fucking iPhone and sends them in, and they say because he's a robot at it, but it's fine. Like they could just kind of manipulate his voice and stuff. But I just think that's hilarious. But for a show like this, they need to be going pro with it,
and
old studio.
I think a lot of it comes down to the direction too, because sometimes their inflections on the way they're saying stuff almost feels like it changes from scene to scene, even though it's the same, or from shot to shot, even though it's the same scene.
Yeah,
and they don't always feel like they're they're in danger, but their voice acting doesn't sound like they're in danger.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of that, and I think that comes down to the directing of the when they're recording it. Because Scarlett Johansson, I think she's done voice work before, and it was really well received. And some Disney or Pixar movie, she's done it before.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's it's been the worst part of What If has been the voice acting.
Yeah,
I think half of it is the directing, and the other half is the time constriction because they're brought down to about 30 minutes, not even 30, like 20 something minutes, and then it's over. That's so true. So it's like, okay, say your line, say it quick, and we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lake Bell is the name of the girl who voices Natasha in this. And Ross Marquand, I think is his name. He's the one who voiced Ultron, who sounded so much like James Spader. I actually thought it was James Spader.
Yeah.
He also does the voice for Red Skull.
Wow. Yeah, because he sounds exactly like Hugo Weaving in that.
Yeah.
Insane. I need to know more about this guy. He is a chameleon.
Is this the guy that was in The Walking Dead?
Yeah, he was in The Walking Dead, and Mad Men and stuff.
I think he got his role in The Walking Dead because his YouTube thing where he did 50 voice impressions of actors or whatever, and it actually sparked his career.
Yeah, well, from what I've heard, I don't know this guy at all. I'm gonna do some research into him now tomorrow, but he's incredible. From what I've seen, he sounds so much like actors that I think it's the real people. I thought Hugo Weaving came back for Endgame. Or Infinity War. That's how good he was as Red Skull. Just gotta say real quick because I'm just on IMDb here. That episode scored a 9.3 on IMDb. Highest rated episode of the season.
Well deserved.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Second behind it was the Doctor Strange one with a 9.0. Episode 4 with the Doctor Strange one. That was a great episode as well. The rest, some of them are scoring mid 6s and stuff. Some of them are not hitting well at all. Opened up with a 7.1.
Really didn't deliver the way I wanted it to.
Same.
I liked it.
I'm a huge fan of Marvel Zombies. I'm glad that they Disney kind of gave them a little bit of freedom to be a bit gory with the kills. Because it's zombies, you have to have some gory kills. Heads getting chopped off, body parts getting blown off. It has to be.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, but I wish the episode was a bit better, especially how they were like promoting Spider-Man as like zombie hunter Spider-Man, and he wasn't really
He didn't hunt
killing
any.
much zombies.
Did he kill any?
You know,
He was avoiding.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I didn't see him. I didn't see him kill one.
Just wrecking like shit, you know.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen. It was a little disappointing.
Was there any blood or goop or anything of that sort? I could have sworn there was like black or blue type blood.
It was like colored. If there was, it was like colored. I could have swore it was like green.
Oh, okay.
I liked that episode, to be honest.
It was a good episode, but I wish that they would have went more crazy with it.
Yeah, same here.
See that?
Because in Marvel Zombies, like Spider-Man is a zombie, you know, he's one of them. So I'm just like, oh, like he ended up surviving, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I'm gonna do like just a real quick recap because since we're talking about What If, so like just give us a bit of a refresher. So episode 1 was Captain Carter. I thought it was a good start to the season. It was, like, I remember watching that episode, really enjoyed it. T'Challa becoming Star-Lord, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I don't know.
I felt that way about both those episodes.
Yeah.
To me, it was just the greatest handshake ever.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't actually truly enjoy an episode until Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah,
and I think those first 2 episodes, they were like swapping out characters, and the reasons you love those characters under the mantle is because of who they are, right? And like why they fit it so well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like the Doctor Strange episode that it's like, we're gonna take a character that you know and like have him, you know, have to
plunge into darkness.
Mess with them. Yeah, go a different way.
Yeah.
Flip it. Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they really did find their way, I think, after that. Because like episode 3 was the one with Loki, where Loki becomes the Emperor of Earth or whatever. That was the one with where all the Avengers were dying, right?
Yeah,
and it turned out to be Pym. I was like,
it was so
it was a weird episode.
I literally forgot about that until now.
Yeah,
that's the second time I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Well, did they explain how Hope even passed away?
Because
like on a mission, they said.
But that was the whole plot, was that Hope passed away,
and he went
under Nick's watch,
Revenger mode.
Which is like totally out of the way. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just really wanted to showcase all of like the superhero origins and just blow them up.
I agree. They just wanted to like pop Hulk.
What episode do you think is the lowest? What episode do you think is the lowest rated episode of the season?
Probably that one.
No. That episode is one of the higher rated episodes, believe it or not.
Why?
I don't know.
Is Party Thor the lowest one?
Party Thor is the worst episode in ratings.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, I wasn't here for it actually last week.
That
you guys
episode
talked
wasn't
about it.
really that great.
Yeah, it's just like okay, like all right, like
it was just fun.
Yeah, I think
that's all it was.
The comedy in it was strong, but apart from that, it wasn't anything to write home about at all.
I
Darcy
hated
was
everything.
strong.
I hated everything about it other than Thor and Captain Marvel beating the shit out of each other. Like that was it.
Yeah, that was
like them smacking each other to other sides of the country.
Yeah, that was.
And
cool.
They literally played it like it was a Looney Tunes thing. They even named the countries.
Yeah.
Like,
my favorite part of the episode is, you know, when his mother's about to come, you can see her like coming in on the Bifrost, and he's like trying to scrub the graffiti off the sign, and it's like doing the quick back and forth, and he's like, and he's like, you know what I mean, like just like classic kind of animated comedy. Like I thought that was really funny. Like, but you know, also the episode wasn't great.
I know we don't know like the travel time, but did it just feel so elongated that she was on her way?
Yeah. Well, she is coming from like
so
across
weird.
the galaxy, I suppose. But yeah, like anytime you see the Bifrost going off in the movies or anything, it's like, you know, a split second and they'll set them to Earth. Like, you know, yeah, I know what you mean. Oh my god. Any
they catch any bugs on the windshield?
Oh, imagine how many like you swallow, or like, you know, space dust,
space bugs,
space dust in your eye. Oh, that's gas. Do you guys have any other news topics you want to talk about from the week?
I don't think so. It's been kind of a light week for MCU news, right? Like other than Scarlett Johansson's, which is like kind of tangentially. I can't really think of anything that's been going on.
By the way, I just want to say, when you guys said it took her a long time to get there with the Bifrost, I can only think of that one, gonna need a montage. Yeah,
That
Thor
was
had to get his montage on, bro.
That or Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm just
Hell
like
yeah.
going through. You hear the music
Bum.
playing.
Hell yeah.
I believe Moon Knight wrapped.
Nice.
That'll be nice.
Ooh.
I went.
Now,
Oh.
now I'm searching for a way to read the comics.
I don't know if I shared it in the Discord, but did you guys see that picture of the actors who does what's his name? Who does Moon Knight? He's in a picture with Willem Dafoe and I forgot who else it was. And they're like in a picture together and they're like speculating that like Moon Knight's gonna like slowly work his way into the MCU a lot quicker than we think.
Oh my lord.
Watch here. Let me go share the picture right now so you can pull it up.
Share your screen. Find out.
Zaber, can I ask really
You can
quick?
just share your screen.
I'm doing it on mobile because it's on my phone where I saved it.
Gotcha.
Zaber, did you get a Eternals trailer today when you watched Venom?
No, yes. When I watched Venom, I did have an Eternals
didn't
trailer.
it seem a little bit more extended than what we've seen on YouTube? I thought it had a couple of scenes that we hadn't even seen yet.
I went to the restroom. All I did was hear it.
Grow up.
There it is. It's in there.
I will say that the trailer in the theater today got me super excited for Eternals.
I saw an Eternals trailer.
Kit Harington. Ooh.
That shot of Kit Harington where he's like next to the store, he looks so short, and they're trying to do their best to make him not look short. But like,
put the camera on the ground.
I think these guys. I think I saw something about this picture. I don't think this is on a Marvel set though. I think these guys just like ran into each other like out in the world, as far as I'm aware.
That's just crazy how it's really coincidental.
Yeah,
that it's them three. You know, it's Green Goblin, it's Gore, and it's fucking Moon Knight. You know, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think since Moon Knight has personality disorder, is it personality disorder? And then Willem Dafoe's character for Green Goblin also has a personality disorder. You know, I would see the two like at least fighting. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, so that's messed up, man.
Well, like in terms of like, you know, they understand how each other feels.
Hey, you just like to see people with mental illnesses fight each other. Whatever, man. I am not going to king shame you here in front of your friends.
Of course not.
What, you don't like horrible. A good Batman movie?
Dude, that's what I say. That's what I think about Batman all the time.
Dude, I went to see that. I went to see that Sopranos prequel on Wednesday, and
how's that?
It was great. It was great.
Really?
I'm a massive Sopranos fan, so for me it was great to see them all in their youth and stuff like that. And John Bernthal plays like Tony's dad in it, and it's just the cast is great. Your man, what's his name? Corey Stroll, who plays the Yellow Jacket in MCU. He plays a young junior soprano, and he has the character perfect. It's so good.
Does the de-aging shit hold up for a whole movie though?
It's not. They don't de-age anybody in it. There's no.
I thought the main.
They actually have what's his name? The dude who played Tony, James Gandolfini. His son plays the teenage version of him in the movie.
Oh, well then that makes sense.
And he looks so much like his dad. It actually
that's why I thought it was like DH software for the whole movie.
It upset me, dude. Because it was just like, oh, bro, like that guy's lost his dad way too young. You know, it was just fuck me. Like, great movie though. Great movie though.
It's amazing when they actually have, you know, the sons of the characters portrayed able to just get into the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's much like Straight Outta Compton with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
His son played him.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, no, the movie was definitely worth the watch.
I literally was convinced even from the trailers, and like I thought that was the de-aging software that we've seen and everything. Like,
yeah.
I was like, does that hold up for the whole movie? No, that's just his son.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
cool.
It's cool. Yeah, the cast, it was really good. You know, the story actually follows. If you're Sopranos fans, you know Christopher Moltisanti in it. He narrates the movie. The same actor who was in the show, and it's him telling the story of his dad, Dickie Moltisanti, and Dickie's actually the main character. It's not Johnny Soprano. So I was kind of surprised in that the story was actually about Dickie. And I haven't watched Sopranos in years, but I can't remember like if Dickie was mentioned a lot in the show. Like obviously I know Tony would have talked about him with Christopher, but it's not really mentioned that much in the show as far as I remember. But it was brilliant. I highly recommend it. Really good.
Well, and Dickie was a mentor to Tony, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
No.
yeah. But like again, I haven't watched the show in so many years now that I kind of forgot about the connection. Because I know Christopher's always talking about how much of a badass his dad was, but his dad wasn't around, and you just don't. I didn't remember it. Like,
it's funny that you mention it. I just did like a deep dive into the whole ending to the Sopranos thing,
bro.
just because I wanted to take a look again.
It's
really
it could be the best TV show ever made, and I don't think that's a bold statement at all. It's definitely
Game of Thrones.
No.
Up till season 6.
Yeah. And again, HBO, like just HBO own all the top slots, I think. Like The Wire, Game of Thrones, fucking
Wasn't Dexter
Sopranos.
Originally?
Dexter's Showtime.
What?
Not Dexter's Showtime.
Oh, Showtime.
Are speaking of HBO, are any of you guys excited for The Last of Us?
Obviously.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Did you see they put out the first picture? The first set photo? It's epic.
Yeah,
It
looks
looks
good.
great.
And just from the back, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
they're gonna portray
Yeah.
Joel and Ellie so well, and
I
I'm
know,
excited
dude.
to see how this goes.
Yeah.
Like Pedro Pascal is like getting all the good roles, and
Yeah.
I have high hopes, and I hope that he delivers really well.
Yeah, like when they first announced it and I saw the first picture of him, just like, is this Joel? Like, could they have got somebody better? I don't think HBO make mistakes very often. And I think, they have obviously seen something in him that we haven't seen yet, and it's going to be great.
The only better candidate that I would ever choose for that role would be Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman from Logan.
Nah, I don't know. It's just, it seems a bit much with Hugh Jackman though. I feel like Gerard Butler's just the right amount.
Everyone was saying a good casting for him would have been the guy that played Negan.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
There we go.
Yeah.
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 That would have been good for Joel.
Yeah, I like Jeffrey Dean.
You know what, Fintel, I'll meet you in the middle. We'll put Hugh Jackman as his brother, Tommy.
Nice. Just to see him die at the very start.
Insomniac announced that Spider-Man 2 is going to be a lot darker than the other two Spider-Man games that they made.
I'm so excited for that.
Is Wolverine also out in 2023, or are we getting that earlier?
I think we're going to get that before.
Thank God, because 2023, like, Jesus Christ, bro, it seems so long.
And
also with them, right? They announced that it's speculated, like it's rumored, that they're working on a separate Marvel IP at Insomniac that's not Spider-Man or Wolverine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they got a whole nother IP coming down the line.
I think there's rumor that they're making their own kind of gaming universe, extended universe, an Insomniac universe, where there'll be crossovers in these games.
Are you guys going to be picking up Guardians? It comes out in like the next, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's on the 20th, I think, I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely in on that. I think it looks fantastic, man. I
love
the
PC or PS5.
Man, I don't know, because I want to play my PS5 at some point.
I know.
That's like always been like my that's why I bought Deathloop on my PS5. That's been my debate.
On my Switch.
I'm like one, like I need to like use this thing that we spent so much money on.
Yeah.
And 2, like I want everything to look and run as smooth as possible with no issues.
Yeah.
So if I just have my PS5 hooked up to my Elgato, just doing it like that, like perfectly fine,
Yeah.
Because the game's gonna run good and it's gonna feel good, and I don't have to worry about if this game can like be ran on my computer or not. And like lately with most of these games, that's been my struggle.
Yeah.
Like I want to give like everyone like more a visual experience, not having to like turn my settings down just to make it accommodate for the stream and the gameplay.
It hurts my soul that I've got a PC that I built myself for fucking $3,500 or some shit, and I can't run a game on high graphics and fucking stream it. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy
how fast like your expensive stuff becomes obsolete within the next year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like whoa.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
But like, even like when I first got my machine, like, you can't stream like Fortnite on ultra graphics, otherwise it's shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even a game like Fortnite, you just can't play it on high graphics, and I think that's just outrageous. Like, and I wonder, even if you had like if you had a 3090, would you be able to stream?
Is such a chunk,
I know.
And there's ways to set it up. Like, I don't want to get too in the weeds of it, but like, there's way to optimize it to where you're like, this is going to use this core, these are going to use these cores, and so like they kind of silo them off versus just running it all together.
Yeah. I still think though, like, it's a lot of work, whereas, you could just fucking stream it on ultra ray tracing on the PS5. And it's just
and like
the
that's
PC
been like
sitting there just chilling,
2 PC
Yeah,
setup,
like-
baby.
Yeah.
I think the next few games I'm gonna buy are all gonna be on the PS5. To be honest.
Yeah, I think you're making the right call, and I might pick up Guardians on PS5. My only thing is, I know Peter Quill shoots a lot, and like, do I want to use that with like a controller, or do I want to just kind of interface with my mouse and keyboard, and so I can just shoot easier?
This is it. This is my debate, and I have this now debate. I'm thinking about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic now as well. I'm thinking, do I play this on keyboard and mouse? Is this a controller game? The Guardians game definitely looks like you would play it a lot easier on keyboard and mouse, but I'd say it's probably more designed as a controller game. I don't know. So yeah, I'm very kind of in the middle about it. I think
also the haptic feedback, man. I was forgetting about that. Like the PS5 has that controller technology.
Yeah.
I just don't think they have the drivers on the PC for it yet, because
No.
I played a game with the PS5 controller, and it's like just a basic rumble.
Yeah.
But I remember playing the other games like Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. I was like, oh my god, like this is amazing.
That
adaptive
game,
triggers.
control on the PS5 too, like uses haptic, and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Like how that works too, and
Yeah, I love Miles.
like,
Miles was so
that-
good on it.
that's part of the reason why too I've been like wanting to play most of these games, because all the games I've been buying all support haptic feedback.
Yeah.
And it just makes gaming like another better experience again,
Did you play Miles, Drunky?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
On PS5, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing.
What an experience.
Did you ever finish Returnal?
No, I haven't finished. I want to go back and finish Returnal eventually.
Oh, that game is
I-
cool. Like
When I went back to it not too long ago, I didn't stream it, but it was just
Solid.
There were more items, and I was like, "Oh God, I gotta keep playing this again."
yeah,
It's
they
so
came out.
good.
They came out with like a few patches within like the past like maybe like how long's the game been out?
4 months?
Yeah, I would say about 4 to
Yeah,
6
like,
months.
I think they already came out with like at least like 2 or 3 patches for it.
April 30th is when it was released.
Oh yeah.
Where's our 2077 DLCs?
I don't even want to talk about it, bro. Why do you have to bring that up? Why
Oh
you
no!
I've never
Fucking-
played it.
What a game.
I
What a game.
never
Loved
finished it. Like
so good. So good. I don't care. They,
and like
all the
honestly,
bugs
didn't
I
feel
had on
bad
PC were
because
just funny, bro. I loved them. Like, they just made for great viewing.
when I found out that all the stories eventually just all become the same story, I was like, that sucks. I was like, I already seen it, I was like, I watched Finso play it, I watched Drunky play it,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I was like, so because I thought they were all going to be different storylines, and then they all end up just going on the same path, and I was like, that's not.
I think there still is like 5 or 6 different endings, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, the first 15 minutes of the game is different, and then you end up on the same mission kind of trail.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
I thought all
sold way
three of us
different.
were going to have 3 different stories.
Yeah.
We could have just sat here and talked about it for hours about how our different experiences with the game, and nope.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my biggest disappointment with it.
I didn't make it out of the tutorial twice. I got bored.
Well, I felt the same way when it came to the Telltale series for The Walking Dead. It very much so split in a fork and then came back in, and then it split and it came back in. But ultimately, I think they figured it out. And by the finale, like the actual finale, there were things that did make a difference, and it's like it just makes callbacks in a sense, like all the things that you did, all the things that you learned, all the things that you taught the next person. They did ultimately make a difference, but on the way there, it was just like split, come back, split, and come back. It felt weird.
Yep.
Do you want
That's
to
a
hear?
nice shirt, by the way, Finto.
Oh, thank you, It's actually a Miles one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's-
sucker for Spider-Man stuff.
Oh yeah.
Dude, speaking of Spider-Man stuff, me and my crazy Funko antics. Today,
yeah?
Funko just dropped a whole line of the Spider-Man animated series Funko Pops.
Okay.
And
nice.
they went up for pre-order today, and me and Vin were trying to get some, and we couldn't do it.
Wow.
Because it's like it was
They just sold out so quick.
they have a Peter Parker, they have a Black Cat, a Madam Web, which is like fucking badass. Like she's on her throne. I was like,
Yeah.
I need that shit. They
Hell
have
yeah,
Hobgoblin, and Doc Ock, and then they came out with 2 T-shirts, and were gone within seconds, and it's been like a shitstorm to try to get them.
Yeah, oh,
my heart's broken.
That sucks.
So now I just gotta hope that eventually when I go to Target, I could just see one in store and just grab it when I can.
Yeah. That sucks.
If you ever need help trying to get those things, I'm usually awake, so let me know. I'll pull up all the tabs and help you out.
It sucks because it's only a Target exclusive, so it's all just on Target's website.
Yeah,
and that's pretty crazy.
I mean, it's really cool that they're doing a callback on that, and that they're actually releasing a series. I don't really like. It's funny how much I like that show, but a part of me doesn't remember what I liked about it, which is really weird.
Remember everything. Like that's what made me become a Spidey fan. That's where I saw it all. You know, like everything I know about the Spider like universe all became just from that show. I played the video games on PS1 too. That was amazing too.
They have Infinity Ultron coming soon.
Infinity Ultron. There you go.
Is it going to be a large one? Or is it?
I don't know. It just says coming soon.
This man has 2 layers of like vibranium armor on him. I don't know what the Avengers are gonna do to him, bro. Just like
this is gonna be nuts.
All I know is I'm about to order my first ever Funko Pop of the Strange Supreme.
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be great.
Don't do it.
Why you say that?
It's a bad addiction.
Dude, here's what's got me
You're
going.
a bad addiction.
There's a company that's doing a half scale in-game Captain America, and I'm like, oh my god, bro. And they're like December, or no, it's like the end of October. I'm like, all right. Well,
where are they sourcing their vibranium? Like? Where are they sourcing vibranium from?
Dude, it looks amazing though, bro. Like amazing.
Like one of those like heavy ass ones.
Oh yeah, the thing it's like 2.5 feet tall. Like it's a big boy, you know.
Dude, Marvel Legends just announced a Spider-Man like helmet that's wearable, and it's the Iron Spider helmet that like with the moving eyes and everything. And
oh man,
I was like, I need it. I was like, I want to go pre-order it. I went to go look at it. It was like $150, and I was like, for a mask. I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, if I do that, I'm never gonna wear it because I'm not gonna want to take it out of the box.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing with like me, like these figurines. I'm like, do I really like want to get into like large scale collectible figurines? Because once you start that, like you know, you're like, oh man, well, you know, I paid that one off pretty easily.
I'm just hoping in the future that my kids can go like sell these to a collector and just make a good amount of money from them. You know, like oh yeah, this was my dad's old like Funko Pop collection, and someone's like, what the hell? Like,
dude, they're gonna be worth so if you keep them in the boxes and everything, they're gonna be worth so much fucking money, bro.
Every single one I've bought like within the past year have not came out of the box.
Yeah, that's the way you gotta do it, dude. Second you take that out of the box, it's worthless. It's not
when you see those action scenes with that statue of Cap,
that's a beautiful statue.
It's 400 and it's like $400 something.
I would love see like that's all Alex right there. He gets statues like that all the time.
I'm not gonna lie, I ordered it and then canceled it. I had to let it go. I had to.
Yeah, my comic book shop do crazy statues like that. There's a there's a Green Arrow one that I wanted to get, but it was like fucking like 200 euro, like which is like nearly $250, and I'm just like, I can't even dip my toe into this shit because if it's anything like comic books, I'll be like in debt. Like I just won't even be able to. Like I honestly have a stack of 50 comic books right behind me there that I still have to read. Like it's insane. Like I spend so much money on DC comics, it's not even funny. But the way I look at it, like what I pay for them, like the face value, they'll never go below that. Like that's the worst case. So in a way, it's an investment. It's a way of saving, I suppose. I see myself being one of those old dudes that sit at conventions with all their long boxes, and like I'll just be selling comic books, and I'll just be doing the rounds, going to the conventions and shit. When in my retired years, just like, oh yeah, Batman. That Batman episode was great. Like, you know, some fucking young kid coming like looking for like old school Batmans from like the year 2010 or some shit. Like, you know, it's like I love that. I love going to like a comic book convention and just picking up like Green Arrow comics from the 1980s and shit. You get them for fuck all, like. Because they're not in like the best nick, but they're just so cool to have. Amazing. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me as an old man.
I want to, like, if I ever actually start balding, I want it to go into a balding state to where I will sit with you and look like that guy that's just like helped you collect everything. Just kind of like my hands on my big old belly. Yep.
Love it. Mex mentioned Madam Web there a minute ago, and that got me into it got me thinking I need to bring up a little rumor that hit the internet this week. Apparently Sony are planning a Madam Web like entrance into like the Sonyverse, so she's going to be introduced in that, and it's going to spawn a Spider-Verse, live action Spider-Verse with her at the helm.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and apparently, according to some insiders, Tom Holland's character is going to go into this universe, and he's actually going to primarily live in that universe. So he will come back to the MCU. So I think after Spider-Man 3, he's going to actually go to Sony, and he's going to live in that Sonyverse for a while, but he'll probably come back for like Secret Wars or something like that. But like, you actually won't be seeing him in the MCU for a while after this.
And I'm totally okay with that, because Marvel has so many different characters that they need to start pushing out, and they're working on it. They got Eternals, they've got Moon Knight, they've got She-Hulk, they've got God, I can't remember the other ones, but I'm just so excited for all the characters that are being pushed. And if we need to move Spider-Man aside and let Sony handle it for a little bit, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, like I think, I was very skeptical about it, hearing like, if you were to hear that like a year ago, or what I mean, like you'd be like, oh shit, like the studio that brought Venom out, you're like, oh fuck, you're gonna give them back Spider-Man, like what the fuck. But now I'm thinking like, it's connected now in such a way that I think it's safe. I think after we've seen No Way Home, I think we're gonna literally be able to say like, this story can just continue anywhere and it's gonna be amazing. Like the fact that we're gonna have Venoms and multiple Spider-Men and Madam Web and a potential like Secret Wars, which will lead into like a Spider Wars or something. Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Like, makes me giddy.
Good luck with that one, buddy. Because the studio
brother.
that brought you Venom is gonna fucking ruin Spider-Man. Like, I'm sorry. If Sony takes him back, I got no hope for Spider-Man as a series.
Well, I think Marvel and like Kevin Feige and stuff will still be involved, but it will like be more so in not in the MCU, if that makes sense. But technically it will be, I think, because I think they've like there's an interview from Kevin Feige where he says Spider-Man will be swinging between multiple universes. Like they're the actual words he says. So I think what'll happen is he'll be in the MCU for this movie. Something will happen. Maybe he'll still be in the MCU for Multiverse of Madness. Then I think maybe he'll get like sucked back to the Sonyverse. They'll do Sinister Six. They'll do Spider-Verse. They'll do Venom 3. All this sort of shit. And then he'll come back for like Secret Wars. So I don't think he'll be gone. He'll be gone for a number of years. But in like the sense of like movie stuff, if this makes sense, he won't be gone that long, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I really hope they set up Superior Spider-Man. I've been getting into that story recently, watching a video that tells you the whole story front to back, and it's really cool. Like Doc Ock gets inside Spider-Man's body, and I guess Peter Parker's like in the very back subconscious, and you'd think that Doc Ock would be like a bad guy, but then he just decides, I'm smarter than Peter Parker. I'll just be a better Spider-Man than he was. And he ends up just being a badass, smart Spider-Man.
And that's the Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That sounds epic. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they set it up.
See, what's crazy is like all that stuff was like introduced to me in the animated series. Like we saw all that go down in the show. We got to see like Spider Carnage.
Yeah.
We got to see it all.
Oh yeah.
And you're talking about like the early 90s? Dude, like Fento said last week, the only other thing I remember from that cartoon was Madam Web a lot.
I met everyone there.
So amazing.
I met Morbius. All that stuff was all in that show.
Yeah, that show is
Punisher.
The show is god tier. And if they just follow,
it's on Disney Plus. I promise you, if you guys have not seen it, go watch it.
Yeah,
please.
100%. If there's anyone in the chat or listening,
if you consider yourself a Spidey fan and you want a good animated show to watch the original one from the 90s.
I've been rewatching it as well at the moment.
Amazing.
It's so good.
Carnage honking or Venom honking the Horde, Fento. I sent you that gift the same day. You watched the episode.
I know, yeah. How weird is that? He sent me
Dude,
that. He sent me that
weird
GIF.
timing.
He sent me that. Kyle sent me that GIF of of Venom. It's from like one of the episodes where he first comes into the show, and he's behind the wheel of a truck like beeping the horn at Spider-Man. And Kyle sent that to me as a GIF, and I only watched the episode. Like, how fucked up is that? Like,
speaking of like, we didn't even talk about how good our timing was with Civil War. Kind of perfect timing is like Civil War, Age of Ultron. We just watched recently, and this is where we're at with the What If. Like everything. We timed pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. It is crazy. Like, the rewatches have been scary. The timing has been scary good on them. Yeah. And it's all completely accidental. I'm gonna reveal that now. We have not planned this.
I'm so excited to watch the Spider-Man's. I haven't been this hyped for movies in a long time. I don't even think I was this hyped for Endgame. Like, I'm really hyped for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
that's the next coming up, right?
I said this last.
Eternals.
Yeah. So you've got like November, Eternals, December, Spider-Man, February, because we're gonna need such a fucking break after Spider-Man. We're gonna talk about Spider-Man for 2 months straight, and we're gonna need such a break from it that they're like, we can't release this thing in January. We need to let them fucking rest because they're gonna be fucked from this movie. Like, and then it's like, okay, February, boom,
and we have Hawkeye running through. Yeah, Hawkeye running through 2 of those months. It's just. We're spoiled. I've been saying this to Vento in the DMs like a lot lately. Like, we're spoiled with content right now.
Hell yeah.
And I'm not mad about it.
On top of that, we got Book of Boba starting on the 29th of December. So that's going to run through January. So it's not like we're going to have nothing to watch in January either. You know what I mean? It's crazy, dude. Oh, I can't wait. It's fucking nuts, bro. Like, Disney are killing it.
Are they going to do weekly release for that?
Yeah.
Are they going back? Okay.
Weekly, I think it's only 6, but it's 6 weeks. So that's end of December, all of January, probably a bit of first 2 weeks of February, and then you're probably going to have Doctor Strange 2. Boom. Like, Disney are killing it. They have pretty much content for us every week. And I saw this written somewhere. I wish I saved the link, but one of the the Disney executives said that they got to look into like the production room or something, and there's 33 projects happening right now in production, post and pre and all this stuff. 33 different projects. So
crazy.
It's nuts. And I know there's always kind of a fear of like oversaturation, but at the moment it's working perfectly, in my opinion. I don't think we're getting too much content. I don't think it's getting dry.
Captain America or Winter Soldier, you thought that was good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
What division you thought that was good?
It was very enjoyable, and I think it's gonna all make sense in Multiverse of Madness.
I think I would rather have those than not have no MCU content between Endgame and then like waiting for Spider-Man, or like if all we had was like Shang-Chi, and we didn't have any of that other stuff in between. I think we would be kind of sad.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we would have, but once you get apart from the release schedule, once you start looking back on this stuff in terms of like legacy content, right? I feel like Falcon's a much better character before that show than at the end of it, and I would say I liked Wanda a lot more before that show than at the end of it. Where now I'm like, what the hell is her problem, man? Like, she's taking a whole town under fucking.
I think WandaVision
on a murderous rampage.
From what I've heard about WandaVision, I think the show will make a lot more sense when we see her next.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I agree 100% with what you said about Falcon. I agree 100%. I think the next time I do a rewatch of the MCU, I'm not watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think the show was just haunted. It was a fucking fail. It was a failed project.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it was a failed project from the start, and I think I'm impressed with how they kind of tried to save it, because it kind of worked, but it didn't. Do you know what I mean?
I'd watch WandaVision again, though.
I think WandaVision will become relevant after Doctor Strange or during Doctor Strange.
I've heard, from what I've been hearing lately, it sounds like Doctor Strange is almost just as much Wanda's movie as it is his. From the way I keep hearing,
she's the main villain in the movie, yeah. So it's gonna be it's all about Wanda.
I just I feel like every MCU show on Disney Plus so far, I have disliked the characters more. after they finish up the season, like especially with Loki. Like anytime they introduce Loki now, I think his character's totally blown. Like he's not a good character anymore in his current state.
Yeah, it's very interesting
so-
where he pops in next. Like, what's the next Loki we see? Is he just going to appear in Doctor Strange and be like, guys, like, you want to see? I've ran into this dude named Kang or something, you know?
Right.
What happens?
Yeah. But like he's not a
such a
good character. Like
conqueror.
he's not the Loki I enjoyed watching for the last however many 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I guess my concern is like these are the first 3 things. Maybe they get better, maybe they don't. But when it's like we got 33 things that we're working on that we're going to release over the next like 5 years or so, 6 years, I'm just like, oh, buddy, slow down. Like let's get back to like creating really good characters that I love to watch on screen rather than just throwing me comic book characters and being like, oh my God, She-Hulk's on screen. Like I don't care. Like I want good characters, and I feel like they've done nothing but kind of destroy the characters that they've had so far for me. Like it's just like it's rough for me.
Imagine you have 33 kids. No way you're going to be a good parent to all of them. There's going to be a bunch of shitters in that bunch. That's all I'm saying.
My dad couldn't even handle 4. Jesus.
Imagine if he had 33.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, you know, I think Kyle said it best. I think, you know, it was better to have the content than not. Looking back on a lot of it maybe doesn't have rewatch value. You know, I can watch Civil War once a week for the rest of my life, I'd say. You know what I mean? Like, I can watch The Winter Soldier, the movie, every fucking day. Like, that, I could watch that movie every day. It doesn't bother me. Like, it's probably one of my favorite films ever made. But yeah, like, I'm not going to rewatch Loki. Or would I rewatch Loki? I don't know. Maybe. I might rewatch Loki because there was some great shit in there. But
they're very aware we're in a world that is all about instant satisfaction and people don't want to wait for content. So I think they're just, you know, they're plucking that
Feed it
string
to
on
us
the
very
guitar.
slowly.
Over and over. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Like they definitely want to be like delivering us MCU and keep MCU in our mind every single day of the week for sure. But I don't know if that's a good thing. One, just for in general,
Legacy.
and then 2, is it good for, you know, this actual storylines and the characters?
Once you start looking legacy and like past the immediate like you're saying, if there's no, I'd say that's a good litmus test. There needs to be rewatch value. If you're spending a bunch of money and it's only good to watch one time, like Avatar, I've the highest paid grossing movie in the world. I tried to watch that a second time back then, and it's rough and tough. It's just like that. You want something that people can enjoy over and over again, and like Finto was saying too, like some of it will age better as more content comes out. But like you're saying, Drunky, I don't think Falcon and Winter Soldier ages better no matter what you put ahead of it or behind it.
Yeah, and it's just like they're introducing a lot of characters because they want to do a lot of these like team meetups because they're like the Avengers sold so well. Like I don't care that the Avengers like we're meeting up as the Avengers. Like I care because like Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and their relationship were going to be butting head on the screen.
Yeah.
Like MCU, like his strongest suit has been the characters that they create. And no, it just feels like they're trying to get as many characters on screen as they can just so they can have these meetup movies where like now we're going to have the Illuminati, now we're going to do, you know, all the, like it's just, that's not why I go there. I don't go there just to see a bunch of superheroes on the screen together. I like seeing these characters and how they interact and how their storylines like mesh up with each other and like just it's like the friction is so good. And I think we're gonna lose that. I really do. And so like at 33, it might turn out great. I'm rooting for it. You know what I mean? I'm a big MCU fan. I'm rooting for it. But
I hope that's like a 10-year plan.
The start
of
it is like not as, you know, doesn't have me hopeful.
Yeah, like I just like, you know, just with everything that's happening in the real world, I just think this is how they have to do it. Like, you know, I don't think it makes much sense if you just have Captain America 4, for example, and Zemo shows up again and we haven't seen him in the Winter Soldier or the show, and, you know, Punisher shows up and it's like, oh, is this the guy from fucking Netflix? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you know, I think there's just so much happening in the real world now, and like if you were to do like a Civil War 2 now, you could have like the X-Men in it, you could have all this sort of shit, but I just think that there's so much new content coming that they need to have more shows. They need to have more stuff to actually introduce these people properly, because you're bringing in so many new characters now. No, they're not. Sorry, not new, but so many like characters that have just been re-released back to Marvel. Exactly. That you're bringing in so many characters in the middle of the race like that. You need to expand to be able to tell these stories, because like I don't know, like, you know, would it make sense or would it be enjoyable if you had She-Hulk show up for 10 minutes in a fucking movie and people just be like, who the hell is this? Like, you know, and I just don't think it hits as hard, like, you know, whereas if we have
like Abomination.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was very wasted.
If we have like a six episode kind of introduction of Jessica Walters, and she's, you know, told properly, and it's a good show, I think you kind of then, with just 6 episodes, 6 hours, you're kind of now, you know, she can be dropped in anywhere and we care about her, we know who she is, we know the backstory and everything. So to me it works, but, you know, yeah, I think you're right, like 33 is a crazy number.
And they've done a good job of introducing characters without having full-fledged series to them. Like, look at the way they treated Black Panther, which is probably the best way any characters ever come into the MCU, where he comes in during Civil War or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's introduced great. He probably has about like 10 minutes, maybe 15 total on-screen time. They introduce who he is. You know, who, like, they introduce Black Panther. They introduce like what his motives are. They kind of give him some really good action scenes, and then he's gone. And it's like, now we have his movie coming out later on. Yeah. Where now it's like they're trying to dump an entire series on you to introduce a character. And you know, as much as you think that they need that, I think they don't need that. I think that's tough. Like, I'd rather them, you know, give Black Widow the goddamn series, or you know, they gave Hawkeye the series.
But like, with the amount of characters, what I'm saying is that, you know, yes, Black Panther worked, but could you do that with like 3 characters or 4 characters in one movie?
Do you need to? Do you need to introduce all these characters?
Well, that's
their
mashup. That's their plan.
Like,
you know, that's what they want. Like, they want all these people in. So how do they do it?
Well, maybe I'm saying like their premise is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need Miss Marvel. I don't need She-Hulk. I don't need all these, like, you know, characters on the side, like, you know, 20 characters that are kind of like mid-level characters. I just need like the big ones, you know? And so I just think that maybe their premise is wrong. And it looks more so like they're trying to find characters to bring, instead of like, all right, we need a new show, go find a character. Instead of being like, man, we've got to get Spider-Man on the screen. Like, we've got to get Black Panther into the MCU. Like, we've got to bring this character in. And they're doing the opposite. They're like, oh man, well, you know, the guy at the top, they want 5 new shows next week. Like, let's go find those characters and deep dive. And
I think what they're doing is, I think they're actually setting up an exit strategy for a lot of the OGs. So, like, you know, Hemsworth's gonna bail, you know, Mark Ruffalo's gonna bail, and like She-Hulk will replace him, and so on. Like, and I think, you know, a lot of the Avengers will be gone, and then they're gonna have the young Avengers in. So like, I think like after, say, the end of Phase 4, I think most of the heroes that we know will actually be gone, and I think this is what they're doing. They're trying to bring in the B team, and you know, the sidekicks are going to take over, sort of thing. Like, you know, because like you can't keep it going that long.
I mean, one of the things I'm interested in though is how they give them an exit strategy. So one of the things that I would think would be plausible is to have a mentor system for the young Avengers. You know, allow the transition to slowly get itself into the new group, while also allowing you to see that the old group is respecting of the new group's introduction, and the new group's respectful of the old group's like previous actions. And that would ultimately bring in the new Avengers comfortably, rather than just throw them in there. You know, all I like, when Drunky was talking about it, all I could think about was literally the production team having a dartboard and a bunch of pictures and just tossing it and seeing which ones they hit. And they're like, okay, let's try this. Let's, you know, what if we do this and that and whatnot. She-Hulk makes sense because, you know, that's another character that does eventually join the Avengers. You know, we have Nathaniel Richards because of Kang. You know, we're slowly but surely getting those characters that would be in the new Avengers into the new Avengers.
Yeah. Wanda's kids.
Right. And so, like, you know, imagine if for some reason we throw in Moon Knight as a new Avenger. Like, how weird would that be?
Mm-hmm.
It like, I get that they're, starting up Moon Knight, but I feel like that's a character that should be on their own for a while, and given screen time on their own, so that they can grow on their own, and especially in their own environment. If like, I agree wholeheartedly with Drunky on this. Like, I don't want forced mashups. The Avengers felt fluid. We got an introduction to all of them, and then they came together, and now they're just kind of hanging out. So if they make Avengers movies, we already know that they're hanging out. If ultimately, like, especially with What If, it does feel a lot like one of those moments of, okay, I need to grab a team, and now they're amassing the team together, like, very quickly. Like, there's one episode left. So yeah. Literally they're picking everyone, throwing them in. All right, go defeat Ultron. Go. And then that's it.
We're gonna need a montage.
Pretty much.
That's how they're collecting them. First 5 minutes. Montage.
I just think like if you look at the last 4 out of 5 Marvel projects, I think it's pretty obvious that they don't have the attention and the love that these other previous projects have had. Like, between the TV series and like Black Widow, like, they're not as good as, like, phase 2 or phase 3 movies, like, in my opinion. And I think Kevin Feige, you're one guy. Like, how much attention do you have? How much time do you have to really look over this stuff? And then so they start hiring new people who don't know the comic book. Like, the person who ran like WandaVision was like the showrunner, and now is like part of the broader MCU like writing team. Didn't know anything about the characters whatsoever, and she's like one of the main hubs that the spokes comes off now, versus Kevin Feige, who was like this central figure, because they just have to hire those people, and I think it starts to dilute it.
Yeah.
I
hope you're wrong.
What I truly want to see is kind of what we saw when it came to, I think it was X-Men First Class. Remember that scene when Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, as their characters, they go into the bar and they're trying to assemble the team together. You see like
Logan.
Yeah, you see Logan for a second. He's like piss off.
Yeah,
and that was great.
Yeah.
Just having those little moments of a flyby, things like that. Those are fun.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to include them if they don't have to be included.
Yeah.
And that's what I truly like about it. Now, if it pertains to the story and they need to be confronted, then I would understand. But if they're just like there for the ride, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think
33. That's a big number, man.
Yeah, like I think, and
like I said, I hope that's 10 years. If that's like 5 years,
it's not 5 years. No, Jesus, no.
There's no way this goes on for another 5 years. People are gonna burn out, bro.
No, like genuinely, like, I think, like, there's even just, if you take Charlie Cox, for example, like he's got projects for the next 5 years already.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And
True.
Like, he hasn't even, and that's not including his own show yet. Do you know what I mean? So,
right.
Like, I think that this is going for a long time. Like, they've got a lot of money and a lot of investment into it. Like, and I think, how long is the MCU out now? 13 years, is it?
Yeah, I would say 13.
Like, I'm not bored yet, and we're 13 years in. Like, so I could do another 10.
We're like uber nerds. Like, you remember back, like, like 10 years ago when it was all about like that young adult genre, like, with the girl who whistled, like, woo woo, she shot the bow and stuff, and they kept making movies about her, and then like kept making like young women just going up against the system, and like that genre just like flatlined. But at the time, it's like they kept making everything about that genre. And I feel like, eventually people stop going to see superhero movies like this because they're just making too much. It's not just Marvel. You got DC Universe, you got Netflix making their own superhero stuff. It's just, there's genre burnout, man.
I think I think the genre is just owned by Marvel and DC. I don't think anybody should be trying to throw their hat in at all at this point, and I think that Netflix show, which I thought was great, is just a perfect example of something that works and is very good, but just people just don't have time for it because there's just so much on the plate already. that, you know, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna like get invested into a new show with like these characters from a different fucking company altogether. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you know, any Batman movie that comes out, I'm gonna go see it for the rest of the time. As long as I'm on this planet, if there's a Batman movie out, I'm gonna watch it. Like, you know, and Star Wars, same thing. Marvel, same thing. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. And there's fucking hundreds of millions of people that are just like me. Because we've been watching Star Wars since 1977 and we're not stopping.
I feel like in terms of time as well, I don't know if you guys can agree with me on this. I feel like the golden age of MCU movies, or like even superhero movies, has passed. We're now, I would say, in the silver age, and and we're seeing a lot of the dark paths that we're going to go into now, which is ultimately why they're trying to pick all these different characters that have like dark paths or you know, crazy upbringings or sad you know, lives. You know, as we get into Moon Knight, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be pretty dark. I'm hoping it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
When we get in,
right?
Yeah, it has to be. Especially with everything that goes on. I'm going to read the comic and I'll get a better idea of like who Moon Knight is. But you know, once we get into Morbius, that's going to be a dark movie as well because of the affliction that he has to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and we have Blade, and I'm not sure how much they're going to put into that to make it dark, but I know it's going to be one of those moments of like, there's shit in the shadows, like you can't see, that you need these like dark heroes to take care of.
If it's not art, it's not good enough, honestly, with Blade, with stuff like Blade. And I'm always going to feel that way. Like Blade, Punisher, Deadpool, some of them just need to be R, and they need to be okay with that. And then who are we kidding anyway? Like, look at what kids have iPhones when they're 5 years old. They have access to everything in the freaking world at 5 years old. Let's quit pretending like the word, like cuss words and stuff like that, are the gatekeeper of watching a good movie or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking. I remember when I was 7 and watched Child's Play.
Yeah.
Like I watched Blade when it came out, when I was, you know, not old enough. I had that on a VHS, like not old enough to watch it.
Hell yeah.
Glad I did, because it was a good movie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Disney's plan, like, you know, and I think it's just Disney need to protect their brand, I suppose, in a way. You know, they can't be having people getting beheaded and stuff. Although they've got Deadpool now, so I don't know.
Exactly. They've opened the door. Once you've let a little bit of the light in, like, guess what? It's Pandora's box. You've opened it. Let's enjoy the sin.
DC do it with they call it the black label, like stuff, and it's like really dark, really like proper adult comics. Like they're not for kids at all. And that's what Disney need to do. Disney need to do like a black label where it's Deadpool, Punisher, Blade, all these people, and it's just no holds barred, and then just let them live in their own little universe. And
they need to be aware of their fandom growing up and cater to that as well.
100%.
Can't just make stuff for kids forever, because obviously there's always gonna be kids, but it's like
those kids grow up.
You want those kids grow up too,
yeah.
And it's like, so like it's again it just.
I think it's a real, like, if they don't capitalize on like 5 or 6 of these 33 projects being like some really dark fucking adult shit, I think they're losing out on a lot. Like it's go look the numbers on how Deadpool 1 and 2 did. Like they were absolute smashes in the box office and smashes everywhere else on the internet. Like, so do you know what I mean? Like Disney would be stupid if they don't capitalize on that and try and expand on that as well.
So if they're going to maintain Deadpool on rated R, and now Disney has a hold on it, I think once we see the success of Deadpool happen again, if it happens again, then I believe Disney will take its time to start implementing rated R Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Or even Marvel shows. But for now, they haven't really dabbled into that, you know, as their own company. They've only seen Fox do it.
Yeah.
And now that they've acquired Fox, it's their time to try it. And you know, they see the potential, so that's why they're gonna try it again. And like I said, if it succeeds, I think it's gonna blow up for them.
Well, they've got all the Netflix properties now as well, and those shows were massive. Like, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio is the kingpin in my eyes. Like, you know, and the sooner we get him into the MCU, the better. You know,
right?
I don't think we're waiting too long, but you know, I think he's going to be fantastic. Charlie Cox, fantastic. John Bernthal, like as the Punisher, would be fantastic. Jessica Jones, really love her as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them all their own shows, but just put them on a Black Label Disney. I think it's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Genius.
And give Kingpin like that upper strength too, like to
Yeah.
just have him be that big boss in the top of the skyscraper, waiting for like the hordes, like the characters, superhero characters going up, fighting, fighting their way up.
I just want, like, what I would love for that character is just to see him, just be in the shadows for the whole time, pulling the strings, and we kind of get a glimpse of him. Like 5 minutes of him in a movie is enough, nearly, like, just to have him appear and just like at the end of the movie and be the one who gives the orders to the tracksuit mafia or something in Hawkeye, for example. Like that would just be straight fire. And then he's just in the shadows, and maybe you find out that he's got something to do with he's teaming up with fucking Norman Osborn or something like that, and then that's how he comes into Spider-Man. Like, it's just, I think he can do like very small little bits with that character, but they just hit so hard in the absolute story, like,
And it gives the heroes a reason to go and confront that character. Exactly. Just like when you see in the animated series, they're like, we believe Kingpin knows some information about who's actually doing this because we saw that part of his supply was, alongside this other supply. So they go and ask Kingpin, and Kingpin's like, what do you need the information for? And it's a nice bit of dialogue that they can have. And even if they have to beat it out of him or something, that's still fun. It's the reasons. That's what I love to go. That's what I love to watch the animated series of different superhero shows for, is like the reasons for them to go and confront characters that about.
Yeah. Just imagine how good it would be, like, to have, Peter Parker start looking into some like sketchy dealings, like, and it's all stuff that we've seen in other projects in the MCU, and then he's starting to put together, the Wilson Fisk fella is bad news or whatever, like, you know what I mean? And then like, he starts like getting help from Daredevil and all this sort of shit. Like, oh, bro, like that would just be so fucking good, dude. Like, that's what I'm hoping is coming, and like I want to see as much of that as possible. I want to see all the crossovers, and like that's for me, like, that is just amazing. Like, that's what I live for. Like, oh, fingers crossed.
It'll go well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's fairly bulletproof. It's on autopilot at the moment. You know what I mean?
Well, not all of these projects are going to be fantastic, but they're going to hit a few.
Yeah. I heard a rumor actually today about some Thor Love and Thunder news. I don't know if you guys, I think I might have sent it to you on TikTok, but there was a great theory that, the way like we see like Thor's like super jacked in this movie. Basically, they're saying what could potentially be coming is like what they did with Loki with all the variants. There in Thor Love and Thunder, there could be like multiple Thor variants in the movie.
I'm walking out, bro.
And
I'm fucking walking out for Thor variants. I can't, dude. Like, I literally fucking can't with that shit.
I really Loki already.
So what they're saying, this would explain why there's a Jane Foster with the hammer, because she's a female version of Thor, and then the jacked up version of Thor is like this version of Thor who's this like fucking absolute shredded god, like, and obviously because like Thor was like fat when we saw him last, and then he's like gone off with the Guardians, like this Thor that we're seeing in the pictures and stuff looks nothing like him. So there's a real like Thor. Apparently there's a comic book series called Thor Corp, and it's a corporation of Thor variants, and I think that's what's coming, bro.
I think
that variant of Thor, his name is Buff Thor.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So get ready, drunkie.
I think the only two characters that I would love to see that are Thor based are like, let's throw in Throg. You gave us a little bit of a teaser on that. I would have loved to see a little bit more on that. I don't know how they would throw it in there, but some like figure out a way.
I would love to see a tiny little frog Thor beat the shit out of a Loki. I think that would be hilarious. I don't know how they didn't do that in the show. I thought it would have been great. I think it was a deleted scene though, but they got rid of it.
Another I would love to see is Beta Ray Bill. Definitely want to see Beta Ray Bill because they have Stormbreaker and it's a different type of Stormbreaker. So it'd be fun to actually see someone who's also like worthy to wield such power be given Stormbreaker, and then Thor puts his own little spin on that weapon, and then he gets Mjolnir back somehow. Like they reforge it for him, and that would be a cool way to introduce Beta Ray Bill.
It would, but yeah, I would love to see Beta Ray Bill just because like that's nerd shit. Yeah, what a wild character to bring into the MCU. Like, how do they get him to look good on screen all the time?
That's hard.
It's a Corbinite that looks like a horse. So
yeah,
it'd be tough, but I think they could pull it off. I mean, they've had stranger characters,
That's true. Like we do have like Korg and stuff. So
we need Alpha. We need Alpha Ray Albert.
Apparently, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I was just going to conclude and say I do not want to see a variant of Thor being Jane Foster. I want Jane Foster to take the mantle from the 616 Thor. I want it to feel as if it's a passing of the torch.
I love Natalie Portman, but I really don't want that.
I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that out. Can we just scrap the?
No, dude, listen, Power Ranger style. She takes it and she transforms.
I don't know.
She's no Green Ranger Tommy. I'll tell you that. Listen, I know I shot my shot last week with you, Miss Natalie Portman, but you didn't get back to me, so I'm flipping on you now. I don't want you to have the hammer. Fuck off.
Oh god. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm all for Natalie Portman, but at the same time, I just don't want to see it. I just don't know. It doesn't hit for me. Like, it's just not believable. Her character's just no. I don't believe she's worthy. I really don't.
Well, bro, it's the multiverse, Ventel. There could be another variation where she's worthy.
If there is another, I would prefer that, to be honest. If like just a version of her appeared that's just been the mighty Thor in that universe or whatever, I can accept that better than the fucking Jane Foster that we've known throughout all the movies so far, just being able to fucking lift the hammer. Like, no way.
She wasn't at the party, so I mean, she never had a chance to try to lift it yet, so we haven't seen it.
Could you imagine she just lifted it and like threw it up in the air and caught it? No, just like dropped it down and scored the point.
I don't want to imagine that.
I don't either.
I'm
excited.
Oh man.
I mean, okay, so let's say we don't do Jane Foster. The only other character I would think that would be okay is maybe Sif. Only for the fact that she had a pretty decent amount of screen time, and we did see her in Loki. So I mean, they still have that character in their back pocket somewhere.
Do you know what I think is the best thing for Thor? You do this movie, he becomes the Allfather at the end, and then Thor just disappears. That's it. I don't need any more Thor. I love Thor, but if it's not Hemsworth playing him, I don't want anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with Iron Man. I don't want a fucking another Iron Man now. I don't care about Iron Man anymore. Downey's dead. That's it. It's done. I don't care.
I separate from you there, where it's like, if these actors want to go away and we still got really good stories to tell with those characters, just recast them. I'm fine with it, man. If we got I'd rather see really good stories be told that still exist in the MCU that they barely scratched the surface with Iron Man on stories they could tell. So if they feel like they got to recast it, okay, I'm all right with it. That's the way it is.
I'll take time.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is I just watched A Few Good Men. I had never seen that movie in my entire life, and Katie made me watch it, and it was fantastic. And I was thinking, you know what? Tom Cruise has so much range. I think he could actually pull it off.
For sure. And I'm not saying everyone can play Tony Stark, right? It's definitely a hard role to nail. But I just...
You want someone to do it.
Yeah, if we still need to... I want to see Tony Stark and Reed Richards together.
Yeah.
I want to see
Me too.
Yeah. So if we have to get someone else in there, fuck it.
Yeah, I want to see it too, but I just think... I think I'm okay to wait for the official like reboot of the universe, because that will happen in like 15 years. I'd say once we're done with this kind of 33 projects, I think they reboot the entire universe and recast everybody and just start all over again for the next generations. And I'm fine. I'll wait for that and I'll watch them too. But I think with where we are now, I think it would make sense to have like, Thor turn into an old man and like be the Allfather, and then maybe hang around, and maybe it might make sense to to get a recast. Like maybe something happens to him where he just changes appearance or something like that, and he becomes the Allfather, and then the character can continue without Hemsworth.
I want that reboot to be the 2099 series then.
Yeah, like
that would be sick.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a point where they will just do a hard reboot on everything. Do you know what I mean? Like Fox do it all, like Fox have done it with their universe.
Oh yeah.
And, like it happens. So I think that will just universally happen across the board at some point. Yeah.
I could see it, especially in like 15 years for sure.
Yeah. Because everyone's going to be way too old,
Yeah, including me.
True. But like, you gotta think like, people like Chris Hemsworth like are not gonna be, keeping up like the fitness regime and all this stuff in 15 years time. Like they can't, like they're not gonna be able to, like,
Right.
And it's just not gonna it's not gonna hit the same when Chris Evans comes back and he's fucking 60. Like, it just doesn't work. Like,
but then he could be the real old Cap.
True. And I think that's fine for cameos and stuff, but you can't be pumping out like superhero movies with old people. I'm sorry.
But I think when you're saying reboot, I really do believe that New Avengers, Young Avengers, and all that is technically the reboot for them. They are trying to advance the story so that it makes its own timeline of a reboot, and not necessarily just rebooting all the characters like that we used to know. Having new characters, having new superheroes, having new powers available like on the roster, that makes for more story.
Yeah.
Like we're already aware of like what Iron Man has gone through. We've already been aware of what Thor has gone through. Like let's get some weird ones. Like once we have the X-Men like fully integrated, let's do some Jubilee, let's do some Rogue, let's do some, Shadowcat. Let's start getting characters that need to progress and get older and stronger to start integrating themselves in the series.
I agree. Man, I mean, fuck, man. The X-Men has so much potential that like I don't even need any other MCU characters. I don't give fuck them.
There's so many.
The X-Men.
And we only talk about the X-Men. We don't even talk about the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think 15 years I think is a long time, and I think a lot's going to happen, and I think we will start getting the B teams and everything like that. But I just think look at what happened, Tobey's Spider-Man in 2002, and it's now 20 years later, and we've had 2 other Spider-Men since. I think in 20 years time from now, we absolutely have a different Thor and a different Iron Man, and probably another Spider-Man again, and this is just naturally the way it goes. Now, do they keep the same kind of universe alive? Maybe, I don't know, but I think there's definitely a big reboot coming.
Well, my question for you, Finto, is how often have they rebooted simply because they feel that the story wasn't going to go anywhere?
Yeah.
True.
Because we're at a point where we have phases. I don't think we've ever really gone this far in terms of the MC, like the cinematic universe.
No,
no, not even DC has gone that far. They've only gone as far in the comics, but now it's in cinema. And so it's starting to look positive for advancing stories.
Yeah,
and that
I think a good thing to keep in mind with that is like the MCU is not a failure. Like everything they rebooted because it was failing. And so I think if the MCU keeps its quality up, will we see a reboot in 15 years? Like maybe in 15 years, are they still going to make money off this stuff like they are now? Is it even worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. Does passing mantles work if we keep seeing it?
No, passing mantle sucks. It's horrible.
That's what I mean. So it's like passing Captain America's shield around all the time. For me, doesn't work. Everyone wants Steve Rogers, but if in 15 years' time, Like, you know, it's going to be a stretch to get Chris Evans back in 5 years. Like, he's definitely not coming back.
Recast him, baby. Give me someone else. Let's go.
That's what I mean. Like, and I just think that they're going to start doing that. Because I think, you know, you can only progress the story so long, and this happens in the comic books all the time. Like, they'll kill Steve Rogers, and then, you know, Sam will get it, Bucky will use it for a while, but then it's like, we have to bring Steve Rogers back. He is Captain America. So we will get to that stage in the movies as well, where they're like, shit, we need Tony Stark. And they're going to have to recast, or they're going to have to get a different variant or do something, but they have to bring the character back, like, you know, so... And I want to see the progression, obviously. You know, I want to see Young Avengers, I want to see Dark Avengers, I want to see everything. But at the same time, it will always go back to Peter Parker. It'll always go back to Tony Stark. It'll always go back to Steve Rogers, you know? So, it's just something that's probably going to have to happen down the line. But, yeah, I don't know.
You never know, though. One of the characters that is portrayed on the cinema all of a sudden becomes this huge hit, and then now they want to push more of that character, and so then that progresses that story even further. So like it's like I said, I don't think the population has really seen an immense amount of, like, you know, variety for characters.
Yeah.
So something's got to hit, and yes, like the originals, the OGs are always going to be like one of the coolest and one of the best and always the brightest and top characters that you'll ever want to bring back. But if they hit somewhere, they're going to push it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
I agree with you. Hell yeah. I don't know. I just can't get past it. I can't get past, you know, we're just in such a weird place to me in this MCU. And I know it's because we've been spinning our wheels because of COVID, you know, that I have less faith now than if like COVID would never happen and, like, you know, we get all this rolling a year ago. I'm like, oh yeah, and, you know, in game's there, and now we're moving on to the next one. And I just feel like we've been spinning our wheels so long that I'm like, this is not gonna be great.
It's anything that can happen feeling is kind of like scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how good would like Shang-Chi have been if it happened like a year after Endgame?
Yeah.
You know?
And wasn't Eternal supposed to be like the first movie they led with after Endgame? Like, can you imagine that? Like that's it. Like, we're kicking off the next phase. Eternals, whole new group. We're here because of this.
Yeah.
So I know that's, like, you know, out of their control, but nevertheless, it still kind of like puts me into a headspace where I'm like, ooh.
True. Yeah.
All right.
For sure. Whew.
That's a lot to think about.
I'm just so excited for next week's episode of What If. I really can't wait to see what happens.
I honestly, you know, I think I'm going to actually rewatch that episode again, like a third time. Like, I honestly cannot get over how good that episode was. It was
really good.
Fucking mind blown. Loved it.
You're gonna keep pausing it right at Mustafar?
Yeah. I think Mustafar should be the thumbnail for this episode, actually. That or Hawkeye Fallen, one or the other. We'll get a clickbait fucking thumbnail going of Mustafar. What If episode 9 or episode 8? Hilarious, dude. I just can't believe they made Star Wars canon in the MCU. It's crazy. It's fucking
like
nuts.
I said, why not? Like, why not?
True.
Just, you know,
True.
More money.
Oh, they're pushing it out, like, so far. Like, you know, they've got, like, if you think about it, like, the dude who directed, like, Venom 2 played a character in the MCU. Now his movie's in, like, the MCU. It's just so fucking weird, dude. It's so good. Like, I love it. Absolutely love it. The MCU is crazy.
Yeah.
I hope we're here in 10 years still talking about it. It's going to be so good. I will be anyway. 100%. I'm trying to see if there's any other news. Do you know, did any of you guys watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No.
So there's kind of a kind of running joke in, like, the Marvel kind of community, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is meant to be canon. Feige had kind of said, I think in an interview, we kind of revoked the canon from it, but, like, now it's technically is canon. And apparently now what's her name, Chloe Bennett, was meant to be in, like, this fucking Powerpuff Girls show, but she got, like, cancelled out of it because apparently she's coming to Marvel and they're reprising her role. She played Quake in the show, and now she's apparently coming into the MCU, and they're saying like obviously Coulson's in Agents of Shield and stuff as well, and there's rumors that he's going to come back again, and I don't know, it's crazy. Like I really liked the show when it first came out because it tied into the MCU. So I like, you know, I don't understand what the whole canon jokes are in the thing about, because like literally it tied into the movies, but I think the show got so bad that they kind of want to just try and strike it from the record, kind of like Episode 8 of Star Wars, like, you know.
Right.
But it is canon no matter what they say. But yeah, like I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see someone from that universe, and I would love to see Coulson back as well. Yeah, I don't know. Surprised you didn't watch Agents of Shield, or at least like some of it.
I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and it's just like I don't like network TV. I'm like, this is just a network TV show with like Marvel on top of it. It's just, you know, not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
it's just episodic. You know, it's corny. Things aren't shot well, and like they're on TV budget. They don't, you know, it's not like they got a choice.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Like I literally like I hate TV. Like I hate TV. Like regular broadcast TV, I can't stand it. There's not one show that I can watch.
The way they set up things for commercials and then repeat the last line they said right after the commercial break was supposed to happen, like stuff like that you notice just kills it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's to me, it's not an art form. Like it's just a way to sell commercials, way to preload you for commercials versus something that comes on like HBO or Disney Plus, where like this you pay for it, and so the person doesn't have to like put ads in. They can just like make what they want for you. So that's why when I watch Agents of Shield, I'm like, I just can't do this. Like I try to give it a shot only because it's the MCU and it's Marvel. And then like a couple episodes in, I bailed on it.
You're already at a disadvantage trying to put a story out in like 30 minutes, but then you don't even get 30 minutes. You actually have like 24, 20, like. Mm-hmm. So it just network TV is kind of went downhill. I agree with you on that.
This show went on for like, it was like an hour. The episodes were like an hour long. They were like 45 minutes without ads, and like I think for me the problem with network TV is, you know, we complain about Loki getting 6 episodes and them kind of like diluting the storyline when it's like spread across 6 hours. Like try spreading it across fucking 22 hours, you know. And it's like network TV where it's like, you know, episodes 14 to 17, it's like nearly like a month of just filler bullshit, and then it's like, here we go, we're ramping up now. Like they come back after like the Easter break, and it's like, let's give a big fucking push now up until May before the summer, like, and you know, it's like 3 or 4 episodes where it's like really good, but it's like I've been watching for 6 months now, and it's like, you know, it's only starting to get good now. So I can understand the frustrations that a lot of people have with network TV. I don't know, I was very invested in it when it was first out, because they, again, you know, the second season ended and it went straight into Age of Ultron. Like, you know, they found Loki's scepter. Like, that was the whole purpose of the second season of the show, and I was just like, fuck, this is amazing. You know, but after that, like, yeah, it just got really ridiculous. Like, and you just I can't put time into a show that just doesn't even link into the movies. Like, with that show, they literally got picked out of time and got shot into the future, and they're like living on a Kree ship in space in fucking the year 3000 or something. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, this has nothing to do with anything.
I'm trying to hit those Star Trek vibes too, bro. What do you mean?
But like, and I suppose I understand, because this was around the time that Guardians of the Galaxy came out, so it was like, obviously they wanted to introduce the Kree, who obviously had a story in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like, why set it in the future? Like, you know, if you're going to bring the Kree in, try and do it in current times or something. Maybe they just get taken off world or something, like Peter Quill. You know what I mean? But I don't know why they went to the future. It was just so stupid. Booker Bush says he's interested where Eternals takes us. I agree, bro. I think, you know, Eternals is going to be epic. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
Did you guys see what the possible runtime was going to be?
No.
2 hours and 37 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
Phew.
That's
I
great.
like that.
That's what I want.
It'll be the second longest MCU movie behind Endgame.
They need, especially with a movie that's introducing like 10 new characters, new planets, everything. Like, you know, this is a full blown like origin story movie. Like, you know, I think they need to give it the time, and I think, you know, I really enjoyed Shang-Chi, and I liked it even more the second time. To be honest, it probably could have been a little longer. Like, I would have liked to see a little more, you know. But yeah, I suppose we'll have to
more Win Woo.
Yeah,
could have been more Win Woo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, like 2 hours 37. I do not have a problem with that at all.
I mean, it's probably going to be mainly due to the fact that we're going to introduce the Celestials more, so right? Like, it's really going to push on the Celestials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope it does.
This is like definitely their most ambitious project ever, because, you know, they've introduced full groups before, but they got introduced so many concepts in this. I'm just like, if this director nails this, like, fucking, this will be like one of the hardest things I think someone's ever had to do in a movie, is like load all this up on you.
I can't think of the director's name, but didn't she just win an Oscar?
Yeah, she did. Mm-hmm.
So that
no, she's a fantastic director.
That lets me sleep easy at night, you know, for sure. Like, you want someone experienced behind that camera doing something like this, and, you know, especially, you know, you've got like Angelina Jolie in there, and, you know, like some pretty big fucking stars. I think the movie's gonna absolutely slap, and it doesn't even really feel like a Marvel movie, as silly as that's it. Like, it doesn't, like, you know, we know it's Marvel, we know it's all part of it, but at the same time, it just feels like its own. It feels like the start of its own fucking franchise, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is great. You know, give us as much like variety as possible, especially like, as you say, like, we gotta keep going back to this 33 projects. Like, you know, you could have like a couple of projects that could be living in this universe, you know, that might not touch the rest of it at all. And I think that's kind of how maybe it does succeed, and maybe it doesn't dry out, because I think if we have 33 projects and it's all linking in together, it might just get a bit too much. Whereas if we have different planets and universes and timelines and stories and all this stuff, like, you know, it'll feel separate. It'll feel like its own thing. And I think that's kind of what they should do with the X-Men. Should be maybe not as involved with the rest of the universe for a while, and then maybe bring it in for like a Civil War 2 or something like that, like, you know, just let it actually build its own franchise within the MCU, and then kind of launch into a big event like Secret Wars. You know? Yeah, I think that's the way they're gonna do it. Or they definitely
I want Wolverine to come to the scene and be like, "What's going on, bub?"
Yeah. Do we have? I know we in the first few episodes of the podcast, we were kind of focusing on fan castings and stuff like that. Like, what's the fan casting for Wolverine? Is it still what we kind of originally said, or has anybody got any new suggestions on who they'd like to see with the claws?
No one of note yet, but I'll take a look around. I haven't really thought about that.
Tom Hardy.
No, absolutely not. Never. Sure, you can't now. It wouldn't make any sense now.
Hey, bro, easy.
Tobey Maguire.
Toby? Nah, sure, he's gonna be fucking Peter Parker and Uncle Ben. It's gonna get way too confusing if he's Wolverine as well.
I'll just say Gerard Butler. I just want Gerard Butler to get into the MCU.
Ben Affleck in the chat.
Somewhere.
Affleck is like 6'5". Like, he's a fucking giant of a man in real life. I think they need to like keep a comic book like, you know, they've done the Hugh Jackman thing, and, you know, he's not very comic accurate, but it worked. But I think I think you go someone shorter. Like, I actually don't like the idea of Tom Hardy, but I think Tom Hardy's body shape is perfect for it. You know, someone short and stocky.
What about that dude from Letterkenny? He's Canadian, right? Yeah.
Who?
Jared Kiso. Jared Kiso.
I don't know who he is.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at Gerard Butler now, and I'm like, looks.
Yeah. Look up Jared Kiso. That's your Wolverine right there. Send it. Main star of Letterkenny.
Jared Butler just kind of Jared Butler just looks like he just looks like another like Hugh Jackman kind of exact, like, kind of that kind of Wolverine. And I kind of think if they do Wolverine again, it's not Jackman, they got to do someone different, like, you know. Why are we looking at a really bad picture of Jared Butler?
Just because he looks like a wild man.
He looks like he's been on the session for 3 weeks straight. Like he looks like he's been lost in Ibiza or something.
Here, let me try to put this in the podcast thing real quick.
All right.
You can share your screen, Junkie, if you want.
Oh no, all the porn I got up.
Yeah, you got to be real careful.
Yeah, just share the. That's all I say. Like, I don't know why people share shit, but just make sure you share the right screen.
There you go. It's in the podcast chat now. That dude. You get hit like him with like black hair and give him a little hair dye and stuff, you know?
Oh my god. Yeah. What's his name again?
Jared Keese. I'll spell it for you.
I know the face.
So,
What was he in?
Letterkenny, which is like a.
I haven't seen.
It's like a Canadian show. It's about like he's literally from. They're just like kind of like good old boys almost. Like
Oh, okay.
take no shit, you know.
Yeah. I like what's his name? The dude from Kingsman. I can't think of his name now.
No, he's gonna be playing Xavier, bro.
That was my casting for Logan,
Remember?
Yeah.
the guy from Kingsman.
Oh God, now I need to look up the IMDb.
Taron Egerton or something.
Egerton or Egerton.
Here. Oh, hang on. Like,
Oh, Taron Egerton.
yeah. Like people have been putting through like fan castings for him as Logan for a while now. Like,
There's a picture of him.
Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at this. Someone drew that. That is like incredible.
He looks terrible.
Look at that. Look at this drawing here though. That looks amazing.
That's awful.
No,
I like
okay, no. Actually, now with that picture, that makes me think that he would actually be a Sabretooth.
Yeah, I could maybe see that. Although Sabretooth was always like more of a beast or whatever, right?
Use the mountain for Sabretooth.
That looks awful. He does not look like Wolverine, bro.
He's not intimidating anyone.
Now we're seeing awful fan art.
He doesn't look like an actual like a savage of a human being. Like he looks very clean. And he's like one of those people that even a beard wouldn't make him look rough.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, Andy
You're
Serkis.
talking about me right here in front of everyone, drunky shit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what, Andy Serkis for Wolverine.
I mean, he could work. He's a very physical actor. He could like crawl around.
And he'd be a berserker. So let's toss just a character out of the blue. Well, I mentioned earlier Shadowcat. Shadowcat was originally played by Ellen Page, I believe. So who do you think could take over and actually have a Shadowcat in the X-Men?
Elliot Page.
How dare you, bro?
Jesus, man. I forgot about that.
How dare you?
I think that's one of those that like you just cast someone who's not even like known, you know? You just find some actress who's like kind of in a smaller roles and stuff who really hits the part because I can't think of too many actresses.
What's the name again? Shadow what?
Shadowcat.
Shadowcat.
Cat. I don't even know the character really, to be honest.
Oh wait, no. Andy Serkis is already Ulysses Claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. We're
That's
fine.
fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And he's dead.
Let's bring him in for the multiverse.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look, I'm trying to look at like comic drawings of this character just to see if I can kind of pick anything out of my head.
I would love a comedy series that's like what if cast for actors, like what if this actor was this character?
Like people in the MCU already, or just random people like that are not in the MCU at all.
Yeah, random people that are not in the MCU at all.
That'd be
And
like,
just make it
What if Danny DeVito was Thor?
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
they've got
He plays
like
the
this
Frog Thor.
there's so many like there's so many Danny DeVito as like X-Men or as like Wolverine like petitions and stuff like that. They want him to play Wolverine.
I mean, he could. He'd be the craziest looking Wolverine ever, and I would love it.
If they're gonna do like multiverse of madness, like if we see that now, I'd be so happy. Be so crazy.
I just want to hear him say "bub" a lot.
Oh my god, what a legend! What's his official height? It's like,
Danny DeVito?
yeah, very short. Like
3'5".
Jim Carrey as Wolverine. That's hilarious, Pokebush.
Oh, he's 4'10".
4'10", yeah. Oh, that's a legend. I don't
think
think
Joe Pesci wasn't that old right now. I think he'd be a good Wolverine too because he's very very loud.
Joe Pesci, what a legend! What a legend!
I think we're just having fun now.
Yeah. Do we have anything else, guys? I think we're a little over 2.5 hours, so I think we might call it a night there.
I am dry.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I just can't wait till we all watch Venom so we can talk about that.
I have no problem talking. Yeah. As I said, I'm not seeing it till the 15th. Max, you absolutely do not have to wait for me to watch that film, so we can talk about it, do a full spoiler breakdown next week. I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, the way it's looking for me too is I'll be off Fridays.
Okay, that's good.
Awesome.
That's
so
great.
I should be able to join a bit more now and get back into the swing of things.
Nice.
I felt very not talkative, but not like now that I know that I could participate in the podcast a lot more. Yeah. I'm gonna start doing digging and stuff like the way I used to.
Yeah.
Looking at more videos, theories, all that stuff, so I can have more info and more to talk about.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be real fun.
Absolutely.
I ordered Finto. I don't know if you were AFK earlier, but I ordered my first. Strange Supreme is on the way.
Ordered your first what?
Funko Pop.
Oh, nice.
Strange Supreme.
I actually, that's so funny. I actually have a little pocket pop right beside me here. Little Spider-Man.
I'm actually only gonna get one more. I think I'm gonna get the Ultron Vision one when it comes out because that dude's so gangster.
Yeah.
Unless he goes out like a chump in this next episode, then fuck
him. Guys, next week,
be the worst landing ever.
Next week, what are the movies? What are we watching? We're doing more rewatches.
I think it's Doctor Strange and
be Doctor Strange and
Civil War and Doctor Strange.
Black Widow right before.
Black
Civil
Widow.
War and Black Widow technically, if we did it for this week. Yeah. So I mean, if you guys want to do that, I already watched Civil War again.
I could skip Black Widow, to be honest. I don't really need to rewatch it.
Are we doing one movie a week again, or are we gonna keep it on two?
We can do two.
I think we do one, just because we're gonna be talking about the What If finale. We could talk about Venom and the movie. So
Drunky always coming in with the save. Yeah, you're dead right, sir. You're dead right.
Civil War for next week.
So Civil War, yeah, great movie. All right, guys, thank you so much. For the YouTube, if anyone is new to the channel, if you like what you hear, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Guys,
sir,
thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Marvelous chat with you guys always.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm out of here.
Have a good one.